Greetings, and happy Christmahana Kwanzaa Bodanali Yuladonavus, everyone. Welcome to Channel Otherdoc. I'm Jim. I use he, him pronouns, and today we are playing My Life with Santa. This is a special holiday version of My Life with Master, which is a game that has fun with all the glorious villain tropes you find in Universal monster movies, Hammer horror films, such things like that. It normally takes place in an unspecified Central European town in the early 1800s, with PCs who are all minions trying to help their master further their evil plans. But today, the place will be Christmas Town, a hidden city located near the North Pole. The minions will be magical beings who work to help create and distribute toys to the world's children, and the master will be Santa Claus. Let's go around, we'll introduce everyone and find out who they're playing today. We are going to start with Chris. Hello!
Hello, I'm Chris, and I am playing Uskus. She is a Lothian goddess of, she is the goddess of dawn. She's celebrated here in Latvia. And she went from basically being a sun goddess to being a midnight star because of Christianity and the patriarchy. She's all about smashing patriarchy.
Excellent. And we will move on to Ozzy. Hello.
Good evening, I'm Ozzy. I'm Karahemd on Twitter and on Twitch, and tonight I will be playing Knecht Ruprecht, who in my neck of the woods in southern Germany is an assistant to St. Nikolaus, who is the one who beats up the children with an osier stake when they've been naughty.
Yes, that's going to be very delightful.
Yay, happiness! I mean,
yay, happiness! Yes, beat the ones that are not doing well. No, I don't think we're actually going to have a lot of anything like that on camera this time, but we'll see what happens. Let us continue around. I'm treating this like a clock face. Let's continue to Christiana. Hello.
Hello, I'm Christiana Ellis, she, her pronouns, and I'm playing Miss Chili the Snowman.
Excellent. And I think that's probably all we really need to know about it, really, come to think initially. We'll see what happens.
I don't have a lot of personality yet. Mostly I'm discovering my own identity.
It's important. Sense of self is important, and goodness knows it's important at this time of year when there's rather a lot of stress and all the gifts have to get out. And finally, coming around the wheel, Joel. Hello.
Hi, I'm Joel Kensel. Today I will be playing Sparky the Fire Penguin, a former 40-foot animated column of flame from the south who was offered a high-paying consultant gig at the North Pole to be actually somebody who knew what happened in the southern hemisphere. Pinheads up there could not really conceive of an animated 40-foot pillar of fire, so they went, oh, a guy from the south. He must be a penguin. Through the force of belief in malleable forms of spirits, I'm now a penguin. This is not the job I signed up for.
That's what you're doing now. I'll tell you that. Actually, I'm gonna want to ask a few more character questions shortly, but let's get on with this. Before we dive in, I'm just going to say now that I'm just going to say this now. I am expecting the comedy in this game to get really dark really quickly. Beyond that, My Life with Master is very much about people having power over other people and being commanded to do terrible things. So just so you folks will know, we're going to be using the X card, the N card, and the O card. If we hit something that's crossing a line for you, we're going to any of the players can type an X in the Zoom video chat or anywhere else, or you can make an X symbol, and we'll back up and we'll do something else. If something happens that you're okay having in the game, but you don't want a graphic description of it, you can type an N in the Zoom chat and we'll fade to black on it, or we'll put it behind a veil. So it'll be there, but we won't go into detail. And finally, if you're in the midst of intense role-playing and you think that we might be worried you're really upset out of character, you can put an O in the chat to let us know you're okay and that we're good to keep piling on the drama. Something we can do also is we can put an O with a question mark after it when we say or do something and then think, maybe that might be a little too much. Then everyone else can respond and just let us know that we're still doing okay. While the characters are supposed to lead tortuous lives, we just want to make sure we don't have that happening to the players, so we can just relax and have a good time. So now let me make sure I've got all of my things set here properly because something disappeared on me for a second. Let me try that again. There we go. Okay, I can see now. Okay, good. I couldn't see. So getting into this thing, this is going to follow very much sort of similar kind of narrative that My Life with Master does. So there will be a lot of, Santa will be telling you to do terrible things because it's getting close to Christmas time and everything must be ready to be able to harvest the goodwill of all the good children out there in the world that he receives by giving them gifts. And I mean, that's, if you're an anthropomorphic manifestation, you've got to get what power base you can of belief. So it's not the it's not the best job in the world, but it pays it pays the soul bills, basically, I guess, in a certain way, depending on how one identifies a soul. I guess one instead of soul, one could say prime energy, whatever it is that keeps us alive. So let me see here.
You know what everybody believes in?
Booze.
Yes.
Fire. They believe in
Booze is good.
It's hard not to believe in
Here.
fire. It's also hard not to believe in blues, depending. I'm going to turn the music down a little bit, just in case.
I've never actually encountered fire, but a lot of people talk about it very positively. I'm interested to check it out.
People seem to like it. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that it's something you will enjoy. We may want to find other sources of fun.
So I think primarily you are all working as. Tell me a little bit about what's. In general, you all work as enforcers for Santa Claus. But what else? Is there anything else in particular that you each do up there? And anyone can just sort of say if there's anything they want to about their job at the North Pole.
So this particular goddess, in her original incarnation, she was sort of the love goddess. So, but she was originally like the goddess, and now she's a consort. So, but doesn't really get love, just good at it.
Oh.
Oh,
That's sad.
there's so much sadness. We can't have sadness in Christmas Town. Happiness is mandatory.
Have you taken your happy pills?
Yeah. Well, we don't have those to distribute yet, but we might actually. I don't know. We might have some of those. That could be an option. I just wanted to make sure I had everyone's connections down before we get this underway. I have them for a couple of you, and I'm now just looking through and making sure I got the info down here. Okay, good. There's more that I need to write down. Because I wrote them down for Chili and Connect, but I did not write them down yet for Sparky and Sectless. And so we have Timmy Winterton, who is an orphan. Excellent. We need the weird thing about Christmas Town is that you kind of have to apply to get there. But there probably is still there have been enough generations up there that it would have a thriving orphanage. Are there no workhouses?
Yes, there are.
There are, in fact, yes.
Right over here at Santa's Village.
Santa's workshop is indeed a very large kind of factory-like affair with big smokestacks up top, where a lot of the toys are made. It is very, very difficult to make a flat-screen TV out of wood, but it can be done. You've seen it.
Santa is a job provider.
That's right. Makes
Yes.
for everyone.
Jobs.
Everyone works. Everyone.
Jobs.
Yes, it's vitally
You
important.
might want to look up the definition of slavery.
We might, yeah. Well, you don't get dictionaries so much up here, but it's possible. Well, sometimes people ask for a dictionary for Christmas, and so yeah, that's when you get them. But yeah, it's hard to say.
We still going around to the what we do?
Yeah, feel free to sorry, I'm easily distractible today. What do you usually do in the course of your work?
Well, I used to be just one of the faceless snow minions, of which Santa has an endless supply, it seems. But then one day, a girl gave me a hat with some pretty flowers on it and said that I was a snowman. And now I'm exploring issues of individuality and self-identity.
Excellent.
I have a few stories to tell you about being a ma'am.
I like stories.
Oh, good. So for us Equus, can you just briefly you would have you each have on your sheets, you've got 3 points of self-loathing, which is sort of representative of self-loathing, essentially the based on just all the terrible things that you've had to do for Santa over the years. You have right now a scores base of 0 in weakness, which that is weakness, weariness. It's weariness, which is just how tired you are of your job in the world. And 2 points in love. You each have two connections somewhere in Christmas Town. 2 people that you've connected with. You can also connect with other NPCs, things like that. To gain points of love. You can have interactions with them, and you generally gain a point of love from that interaction, whether you succeed or fail. But there are different consequences depending on what happens. But for Equus, what are your 2 connections?
I have an old woman in the village and a young preteen girl.
Okay. And do you have names for them?
No.
Okay.
Do you want me to make some up real quick?
Yeah, sure. When you have them, let me know. Just so that I've got that there, and we'll kind of.
You can borrow my old woman if you want.
You can make connections to the same people, but starting out you'll need different. These can be different old women, but we'll get that. We'll get in there. Okay.
I don't know. I think Martha the Widow might actually be right up your alley. She's a serial widow.
I like this. I will happily share her with you.
I mean, you can totally at some point after play begins. You need to actually start play though with a separate. You do need to have separate connections, just when you're starting out. Just so that I have a nice big pool of NPCs to exploit.
Okay, wait, I got names.
Okay.
Do you want them in Doom Chat, or do you want them on my...
Wherever you'd like to put them. Just anywhere that I can see them. Alright. Cool.
Oh, that's not a mister, sorry. It was supposed
yeah, I got it. That's the old woman?
Yep.
Okay. Alright, thank you. Alright.
Thank you.
So, people end up in Christmas Town basically after it's because a lot of people apply because they want to be close to Santa Claus. And then when they get there, they realize what the problem is. Because that's the source of fuel. Yeah. That's the source of fuel for a good portion of the year. So we are coming up. Let me switch over to... I think... Yeah, let me go ahead and switch this over. Okay, before I do that, though...
Do you want us to finish jobs, Jim?
I'm sorry?
Do you want us to finish jobs?
Yeah, sure. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm all over the place right now. Go ahead.
I tend to be a lot of Foundry support because they just really don't believe you should make it that hot up here. And I have to keep convincing them, no, this hot or it won't melt. Come on. Jeez.
That's very important.
Chili, you don't want to visit the foundry.
Yeah, I think Knecht Ruprecht is the He's the practical guy anyway, and so his other job when he's not out and about with St. Nicholas is sleigh maintenance.
Sleigh maintenance. Yes. Excellent. Oh, yeah. Oh, SLEIGH. Yes. Okay. Yes, that too. That's also good. That's excellent. We need that as well. So that'll be helpful. That'll be very helpful. Okay. Starting to get a good sort of picture here. So let's see. How do we want to start this? Oh yeah. Are there? When you're making rolls, they're all going to be basically D4s. You always drop the 4 when you're rolling, so that's and they're going to be based on these various scores. And I'll tell you what to roll when we get to the various points. But there are 3 dice that you can also in a scene. If you role play a bunch of intimacy in the scene before making the roll, then I may give you an extra intimacy die to add. So that's a possibility. I can also, if your character is very desperate, and you're role playing a bunch of desperation in the scene, you might get a desperation die, which would you only get 1 special die in a scene. So if someone on the opposite side of the conflict is rolling an intimacy die, but you play into desperation, then instead you take away their intimacy die and you get the desperation die. And so that's kind of how that works. And then, of course, sincerity is the one type of die that I personally cannot use. But you, if you're playing very, very much sincerity in a scene, I might give you a sincerity die, which would override any intimacy or desperation that's been played in the scene already up until that point.
Die, sincerity, die!
Yes. So, I think we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to do a general backdrop thing, and we'll see where we're starting here. I think we're going to start. In general, the way this goes, I kind of will be going around a lot. Just each sort of be getting individual scenes during which you're doing stuff. That's louder than I thought it was going to be. Let me turn that down. So it is December. It is very close. It is very close to the time that Santa is going to be going out. He's already been in communication with NORAD and has been sort of setting up his route, or at least the route they think he's going to take. There's a decoy. There are a number of decoys being prepared currently in that part of the factory. There is unfortunately one more cheer harvest that is coming up. It's a lottery.
I just love that phrase.
Yes.
Cheer harvest.
Is this a lottery on our parts or on the victims' parts?
Well, so it's a thing that happens monthly, because they need to make sure that there's enough cheer available, enough goodwill and cheer and happiness generally available to power everything that's going on throughout the year. December is kind of when it's at not at a great ebb, because you get some. I mean, that's why they start doing the commercials and everything at the end of the summer. Santa has deals set up so that people can start expressing their goodwill. It's gotten more diluted recently, though, so they have stepped up the cheer harvests of Christmastown. So that's why they've got a local supply of people to get that from.
So if you draw the paper with the black ornament in the middle.
Well, there's this pot that someone is going to stir and draw names out of, and then you go and you harvest their cheer. That's how that works. And
so is this before or after?
So wait, we're the ones who go harvest, or they harvest our cheer?
Oh no, you do the harvesting. They don't harvest your cheer.
Okay.
They don't think.
Excellent.
Yeah, you are. They usually stick to harvesting the cheer from humans and perhaps some elves sometimes if they're running low on the human supply. But no, you're exempt from that.
Excellent.
For the time being. Also,
We have no cheer.
yeah, it's like, where are they gonna? Let me give you my bountiful amounts of cheer that I have available. So
Are we before or after the 6th of December?
now, what's the context of that, so that I'll have a better idea.
Because 6th of December is St. Nicholas Day, which is my main work day.
That's when he goes and, beats kids.
Yeah.
I would like to once again state officially that I do not condone the beating of children. But
Well,
These
it's
are
either that
bad.
or the Dutch kidnap the kids and take them back to Spain and make them slaves on a steamboat.
Yes, absolute differentiation between player and character.
yes, this is true. I just want to make sure everyone who's watching is completely aware this is a character thing. Anyway, so okay, all right.
Sorry.
Just going to put warnings all over this video. It's glorious. It'll be all right. So yeah, no, we'll say this is after. So you've already had you've already gone out and done your major work, and so this is a few
Which
days.
means I have an ample booze supply.
Yes.
Because St. Nicholas will always pass the booze he receives as presents and bribes, and he will also always pass that on to me.
Yes, exactly.
Because he needs to stay sober so he can actually
Hey, you can't take
curate
all the booze.
the kids properly.
Hey, no taking all the booze. I get some.
There is a
Oh yeah, I'll share the cheap stuff.
Oh yeah.
No, fuck you.
They do make there are breweries here in Christmastown, because there have to be. There is local stuff available, and also stuff comes in from around the world. But yeah, Santa generally keeps the best stuff for himself. Anyway, what we'll probably say then is that so the cheer harvest. So you're called into Santa's office, and he'll just very say, "Ah, good. I'm glad you're all here. We were just I was just getting ready to pour some eggnog. Would any of you like some?" He says,
Is there alcohol?
With pleasure.
Please.
and,
None for me, thanks. I don't have a digestive system.
"Oh, that's all right. I'll just set this glass here, and you can appreciate it." He sets this glass of eggnog on this little tray that's very near to you, where you can stare at it.
I'll hold it with my stick hands.
Now, as you all know, the cheer harvest is about to happen, and attendance is compulsory. But there are a few folks that I understand are a little reticent to come. So I want to make absolutely sure that they attend. And so he's got this list.
There's always a list.
There are many lists. Everyone all the residents of Christmastown are on the nice list by default. But if they end up on the naughty list, terrible things are going to
Not
happen
for
to them.
lack of trying.
Yeah, I know, right? So as he's going down, he's going down the list and sort of distributing, it's kind of a semi-voluntary basis. He just sort of makes sure that you're each getting a certain number of people to make sure that you're herding to bring them to the thing. And so as he's been calling out names, and then as he's going down this list, is he saying, "Ah, yes, and who wants to go and get Martha the Widow? Martha the Widow?
What has she done?
I'll take care of Martha.
All right, go and fetch Martha as well. Make sure she makes it. No, attendance is compulsory, and these we need to make sure everyone is there so that we can all see them when their names are drawn. And let's see, who else we...
Why would anyone not want to come?
I don't know. I am not sure. Oh, yeah, well, these are just folks that we think might need help making it there, yes. Parson Brown, we've not heard from Parson Brown in a while. Would someone go and fetch Parson Brown?
Oh. Well, you think Parson Brown needs help making their way to the lottery?
Well, we've not heard back from him for a bit. So if you'd like to go and get him, if you're volunteering to do that, then feel free to go and do that.
I don't know. I'm kind of nervous.
I can do it.
Excellent. Yes, Connect. Go ahead and go get Parson Brown. Make sure he shows up. And Chili, you can go and get.
He needs reminding we exist.
Let's see. You can go and get. You can go and get Alois. That's the basket weaver. Go and Chili. Go and see to it that they make it.
Okay.
And Seckless. You know that old lady Dolores, yes?
Her arthritis acts up this time of year.
Yes. Well, that is unfortunate. And so he actually picks up a little gift box. And he says, yes, here, to take her some aspirin and make sure she makes it.
Of course, Santa. Whatever you say.
That's good. Excellent. Good. Well then, let's get this going. And does anyone want to resist Santa's command?
Yeah.
All right. So if you want to resist a command, you're going to be rolling your total love score and minus any weariness. You don't have any weariness yet, so it's just 2. You're going to roll 2 dice. So you'd hit the roll button and just put in 2 dice. And I'm going to be rolling against that. Alright, so you got a total of 6. And I get to roll Santa's fear plus your self-loathing, so that I get to roll 6 dice.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yes! And I got 5. Okay. So if the scores were different, that would have triggered the end game, and this would have been pretty fast. But so you don't actually have to do it. So do you make as though you're going to, or do you are you like actively resisting?
I'm going to go, and if asked later, I'm going to report that she had a fever because she was incredibly hot to the touch. But so is everybody. I'm going to round up some other old woman I don't know and drag her in Martha's place.
Excellent. Okay, so that's what you're doing. Let me see. I'm gonna go, and so I'm gonna go around, sort of again like a wheel.
I think Miss Chili would approach Nick before everyone kind of goes off to do their own thing.
Yeah, sure.
Next, I know that you're going after Parson Brown, and I think that this Parson Brown must be a very nice person, because sometimes when people are out in a winter wonderland with me, they like to pretend that I'm Parson Brown, and there's something about marriage that I don't quite understand. But Parson Brown must be really nice. So if you could tell me more about him, because I'd like to be more about Parson Brown. So when you get back, tell me all about Parson Brown.
I will see what I can find out.
This is going to be great. Okay. So I'm going to, again, if no one has the objection, I'm just going to start the same order I've been going, just because that's right in front of me. I'm going to start with Oseklis. So what are you doing?
I'm gonna go ask Dolores if she wants to come.
Okay. Where does now Dolores is one of your connections. Where does she typically hang out?
Her cottage, I would assume, knitting. You know, I don't know, knitting baby dolls.
Ah, yes. Not at all disturbing little baby dolls.
With extra arms. I mean, no,
No,
they're
no.
perfect.
No extra arms whatsoever. No tentacles on those baby dolls at all. We didn't say what species the babies were. So, yeah, she has a nice little. I imagine she has a nice little cottage that isn't too far from the edge of town. I kind of am picturing most of these places are like very sort of gingerbread looking sort of buildings. It's sort of, I mean, they're made of wood, but it kind of has that sort of facade where it looks like it's kind of frosted on the outside. So you go up to you go up to her cottage, and she has probably, I think, a little pool bell you can pull or you can knock, or what do you want to do?
I will knock.
Okay. And after a few moments, just a minute. And after a few moments, the door opens, and this is someone you've already been in contact with since you already have a point of love in this direction. So she's really, yes. Hello. How are you? Do you want to come in?
Just for a few moments.
Oh, certainly.
How's the arthritis?
It's it has been acting up a bit of late, unfortunately. I was just actually going to probably turn in for a bit.
Santa sent a gift along with a request.
Has he? Oh dear. Okay. Yes. What does he need?
He's given you this aspirin
She
for your
takes it.
arthritis.
She opens the box and she's like, "Oh, thank you. Tell him thank you so much." That
He also requested your presence at another harvesting.
Oh dear. I don't know if I could do that. That's after the last one. But and you see her.
If you don't wish, there's other options.
She's sort of fumbling with the bottle, trying to get it open.
If you don't wish to go, there are other options.
So. Oh, indeed. What? Well, actually, before we proceed, so you are the compulsion is there to try to bring her in. So are you trying to convince her to come?
I'm also thinking death is a freedom.
Oh, okay. So she said, "Oh, what? Okay, well, let's continue then."
Death is not the end. So
what sort of options are we do we have then?
do you want the freedom of death?
She stops, and sort of looks at you for a moment. Oh dear. I think now, since what you're doing is this is a threat.
It's not meaning to be. I am actually not meaning this as a threat.
Oh, I know.
Very real. Would you prefer to die? Because seriously, like I said, their whole concept is death is not the end. It's just a reborn. So
that's fair. No, I understand.
There's something not quite human.
Yes. I think. Well, I think since you're trying to connect with her. I think since you are trying to connect with her, I will go ahead. We'll go ahead and use this as making an overture instead of villainy. So the reason score is 3 for Christmas Town. Your self-loathing is 3. which reason minus self-loathing is 0, which would be the number of dice you would be rolling, but you roll always at least 1. So you're going to roll 1 die. Then I'm going to be rolling, let's see, versus the connection, which is fear minus reason, which I set them both at 3, so I'm going to roll 1 die. So this is a straight roll-off. Okay, you got a 3. And I got a 2. Okay, so not only are you successful, so you gain a point of love, which I'll reflect down here. So you have 2 points of love now in her direction.
Did Joe just connect?
Yeah, we just lost them.
Ah, excellent. Hold on just a second. While we're looking this up. Yeah, hopefully Joel will be back if we've as soon as we can get this sorted. Let me look at how the overlay is looking right now. Ah, yes, lovely. Okay, let's fix that. I'm
Mrs. Chili.
Yeah, everyone has become other people for just a moment. No, we can keep going for right now, and then hopefully we'll hopefully we'll have him back in just a moment. But yeah, so she is. So she looks at that and she realizes kind of what you're getting at, and she says, "Oh dear, well, I suppose it's difficult. There aren't really any alternatives that I think I'm going to want to take today. So I'll be over. I'll head over. Are you to escort?
Would you
me?
like a ride?
That
I'm
would be
happy to
very
escort you
nice.
if you wish. Of course.
That would be very nice. Could you possibly help me get this bottle open? These childproof caps.
I will open the bottle.
Okay. So that happened. Let me make sure I've got this in the right place.
That classic overture of love.
Yes.
Would you enjoy the alternative of death?
Yes. Well, no, that's good. That's very good. It's excellent. Let's see. So, yeah, we go ahead and just getting the windows together here. So as that's going on, she'll come with you. Do you have a means? What is your means of transportation? How are you giving her a ride?
A horse sleigh, like a small sleigh with horses.
Sure, you have one of those. That's fine. Okay. I'm going to move around then. We're going to move around to Ozzy. And what's Necht up to?
Yeah, Knecht is definitely up for collecting some gear. This is his kind of thing, to go and pressure people into doing what needs to be done.
Yes.
Especially if they are of the clerical kind.
Yes.
Because
Persuade, yes.
Knecht Ruprecht is the pagan element of the whole thing.
Yes.
And now it needs to be reinforced that there is still a place for this sort of thing. So I'm going to borrow the sleigh and drive to the parson's house. I assume this is some sort of vicarage type affair.
Yeah. So the parson's going to have there's sort of a there's a church, and he lives in a little sort of room sort of built onto the back of the church.
The vicarage.
Probably, yeah. So yeah, that's what those are called. Okay, yeah.
Yep.
In the vicarage.
Whatever it's called in Catholic regions, but vicarage is what it's called over here.
Okay. All right. Cool.
And they'll pound on the door.
All right, and after a few minutes, you note that there, you're again. There's a door opens and there's a it's sort of there's a kid sort of standing there who's like one of the servers, and there's like something. And he just
one of the altar boys.
Yeah, one of the altar boys.
Obviously, Knecht Ruprecht is a tall, imposing figure. He has a sort of similar outfit to Santa. So it's like a robe with a hood, but it's brown, simple sackcloth type fabric with a rope for a belt, and he has a wild, straggly black beard.
Excellent.
Instead of a flowing white one. I am here to collect.
Okay. Parson. And he just turns and he starts running back into the church, running into the vicarage.
I follow him. I don't wait.
Yeah. So you're in their quarters. Is sort of in the sort of. I imagine that this kind of church probably it's not huge, but you've got a few back rooms essentially, and so the and that
Dirt, snow, and reindeer poo melting off my boots.
So after a few moments, the parson comes. He comes out. He's wearing black, sort of all black with a collar, and he's sort of an older gentleman who says, "Oh yes, sir. How can I help you?"
I am here to collect.
What do you want to collect?
It is the time of year for cheer.
Yes,
That's amazing.
glorious. Cheer. Oh, I see. And I was just finishing. I was just finishing up with the setup for the sermon later today. Can you hold on for just a few minutes?
I have more to collect. You need to give it to me now.
Yeah, and really, you just wants you.
And I sort of loosened the Osier stakes in my belt.
And really, what Santa does want is for you to bring the parson to the to the lottery. We don't know whose name's going to get.
It's the parson I need.
Yeah,
I thought they
So,
would give me.
Yeah, you're not collecting the cheer as of yet, but soon.
You need to come with me now.
So
You know what it is. The lottery is on.
So we're gonna go ahead then, and this is a. So this is going to be. You haven't actually gone to direct violence at this point, so we're just going to call this villainy. So this is you're going to get to roll the fear level, which is 3, plus your self-loathing, which is 3. So you're going to get to roll 6 dice for this.
Right. Okay. 6.
Okay, and I roll. I just roll reason, which is 3 dice. And I haven't. There is a mechanic where certain NPCs are innocents and they raise the reason level, but I haven't declared anyone an innocent yet, so we'll see. And I got a 5. Okay, so you beat him. So what we have here is that you gain a point of self-loathing.
Okay.
And then you are successful. So he will he will accompany you. He's just like, oh, all right. Let me just grab my hat.
And I'll strap him into the back of the sleigh, and then
Just imagining these people are getting stuffed into this sleigh.
Blindfold him as well.
Nice. So this parson
Because
with
obviously
this,
he mustn't know where we're going. And then I'll bring him in.
That's how he collects.
that's awesome. I love this. Let me actually go ahead and turn off the chat beep sound, as that appears to be louder than usual. There we go. And yeah, no, we'll so you know, he's got this impossibly broad-brimmed hat and a blindfold, and just riding in the
Mace
sleigh.
just a blindfold before the hat.
Probably, yes. Probably, yeah. That gets put on first. I think that's probably a good idea. Miss Chili, what are you doing?
Or I'll just pull down the hat over his eyes.
Yeah, you could do that too. That'll work just as well.
I'm off to the basket weaver's house.
Excellent. So, that's interesting. You're doing each other's connections. That's
Yes.
so. Yeah,
And my hands are not good for knocking, so I just scratch on the door.
yeah, that's not disturbing at all. So,
I guess he sort of gives you new arms, new hands when you need them.
Well, I was
Because he works with
assuming
wood.
I've just got sticks. I was,
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's why
But
you
they're
go to the
magic
basket
sticks.
weaver.
I can manipulate them and all, but they're still wood.
So you claw the door of this of the weaver's place, and you've been hearing this sort of sound from inside that stops when at the scratching, and then it pauses. It starts up again for a moment. So you scratch again, and then it stops again, and then eventually sort of gets up.
I go around to the window and I.
So you see this guy, Alwa is I'm sorry, is Alwa what's Alwa's gender?
Girl. Oh no, that's
No,
not
no.
mine.
Alois is a man.
Alois-
Alois is a Bavarian male
Okay.
name.
All right. So Alois is I figured sort of like
No, that's mine. Let me change my character's name so that we don't get confused. Sorry, it's too close to Ella.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Very traditional Bavarian name.
so basically I'm imagining sort of a dirty blonde muscled gentleman. Basically is when you come up to the window, you see him approaching the door, and he's like, ah! He sees you in the window. He just sort of very slowly creeps over, and you can see into his workshop, where he's got like a bunch of it's actually like a bunch of what looks like it's a lot of baskets and stuff hanging up, but then in the back you see it looks like he was planing wooden stakes for some reason. So he comes up and opens the door.
Hello.
He opens the crack. Yes.
Hi. Santa thought you might need help getting to the lottery.
He sort
I'm
of
here
stares
to
at
help.
you. Just sort of stares at you for a moment. I'm good, and he's going to try to close the door.
I'll put one of my stick arms block it. And just say, surely you don't want to miss the lottery. I mean, everybody's going to be there. It's going to be a whole big celebration.
I mean, I've got an order I have to fill. We're almost at Christmas, and I'm not going to be able to keep this order up. And
Maybe I could help you.
Okay, but I've got to. I'm going to be working for the next several hours.
I thump into the workshop and start pointing at the wooden stakes. What kind of baskets do those make?
Those, special baskets. Yes. Those are for that. It's for a particular client. Don't worry. Hey, don't worry about those. As he pulls this curtain across where between separates that part of the workshop from sort of more the living quarters, and he says, "Look, it's going to take me a little time. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it to this one."
Oh, well, I'm just one of those people who can't take no for an answer. I'm relatively new to having a personal individual identity, and so I kind of want that identity to be someone who's successful.
Well, okay, good for you. But so you're. I don't think I'm. You're not leaving.
Come on! You know you want to go to the lottery.
You're so cheery about this. It's amazing.
I've got to try to decide what kind of roll to make this. And
I don't think it's a threat, honestly.
so this is.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
like.
from Miss Jelly's standpoint, she is at this point she is saying everyone has to go to the lottery, but why would you not want to go to the lottery? And
Yeah.
if he needs help getting there, he said he's so busy, he obviously needs help, so I'm here to help.
Well, I think that. We're going to make this. I feel like you are trying to make an overture here, basically.
Yeah,
to-
well,
to
I'm
connection.
sincere in offering to, if he's busy with work, I'll help with work.
But yeah, the main thing is that you kind of need to bring him now. That's kind of the thing.
Okay, well, so it's like, how about this? I'll promise you that if you come with me to the lottery right now, I'll come back and help you finish your order.
Okay, go ahead and we'll say this is an overture that you're
right.
making, and so you could add this person as a connection. Go ahead and you're going to be rolling.
Okay.
Basically
Reason
one
minus
die.
Yeah. All right.
Reach rolling one die.
1, 0.
Excellent. And I got a 1. Okay.
Okay.
So you still gain a point of love.
Okay.
So that's a thing.
All right.
Let me put that in here.
So I gain a point of love and a point of self-loath.
That's right.
Okay.
So, he sort of is looking at as you're doing this, and is like, yeah, okay. Tell you what, yeah. I'll be right out. I just gotta grab my coat. So, if you can help me get my. Tell you what, you could help me do if you can help me get my my sled out of the loft over there, then I'll be right out.
Okay.
And the moment you head out the door, it slams behind you and locks. The bar slides down behind.
And yeah, I think that, if I had a heart, that would have hurt it a little bit. But, I guess I feel bad. He's just so busy that he can't afford time away from work to come to the lottery. What a nice man.
I know. Such a nice man. So
I just feel bad I couldn't persuade him.
I know. What you gonna do?
Yeah.
So let's see. I think what we're gonna do, since this would be coming around to Joel's turn, and he's trying to get Zoom to behave, and we're getting kind of close to sort of what would be roughly a halfway point anyway, and we can take as many breaks as we want anyway, so it doesn't matter. I think maybe we're going to take a quick break. We're going to take 5, and then we will come back and see where things lead as we approach the cheer lottery, or the cheer harvest.
Yeah,
Yes.
but
the lottery for the cheer harvest, and I think that'll be good. So we will be back in a few moments. See you shortly.
Yay!
hurrah!
We have returned,
Yay!
and now we are in the process of grabbing people for the for the cheer harvest for the lottery for the cheer harvest, which attendance is mandatory, and now it is Sparky's turn. Sparky resisted the command, so doesn't necessarily have to, and said that he was going to go out and get just a random old person. Is that right?
Well, I'm
you
sure
just gonna
there's
get a
somebody I'm not fond of.
So what do you do?
I'm gonna go find somebody I can pass off as Martha the Widow.
Okay.
Who is generally one of those, oh, none of that stuff really happens in the South, you're just crazy kind of people. Or one of those true penguin believers. And I'm going to round them up and say, oh, you're coming to the cheer harvest.
Okay, so you're heading to just the one of the places where they have the various gaggles of elderly in this village. Sure. I am tempted to. Yes, sure. This is a Christmas thing. By sheer coincidence, we do have another old woman on our docket here that you can run into.
All right.
And you think you've well, yeah, I mean you've seen a bunch of these folks around before, so it's hard to say. So, are you going to like a public place, or are you just going to people's houses? What are you doing?
I'll go to a house.
Okay.
Say, good news! I am here to serve as your personal escort
So
to
there's
the
this
cheer harvest.
there's this old woman sitting outside of her house, and she just looks up and just, I don't know if I can get up and get there. It's going to be very hard for me.
I will conscript 2 burly young lads to carry her chair.
So we're just basically going to get a couple of guys to come and just forcibly pick up her chair and carry it.
Well, yeah, as a service to her, so she doesn't have to stress herself.
I mean, the guys are also going to be attending the harvest.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's entirely possible.
Well, they're going now.
They're going now. A certain amount of the populace needs to turn up. Attendance is mandatory to the lottery. I feel like I am going to want to go with a villainy roll here, just because this is this is not necessarily making a connection with anyone.
Oh no, it's not at all.
No. So you get 6 dice here because you've got the fear level plus your self-loathing. Yeah, that's what you're rolling. Okay, and
I have a 10.
I get only 3 dice, and I got a 6. Yeah, so you were successful, and therefore you gain a point of self-loathing. So you're up to 4 now, and a couple of guys, they're just like after they see who you are, and they sort of realize, okay, all right, fine, and so they go on either side of her, and she's like, they lift her up and carry her chair.
Keep her level. Keep her comfortable.
Yeah, sure, whatever you say. And they carry her to the lottery. So the lottery happens. It takes place in a sort of an auction house type place. A place that's usually an auction house, sort of a municipal building type thing that they have there in Christmastown. And one of the chief elves is going to be there. They're stirring this big pot with the names in it. And the Krampus is also on hand while this is going on, just sort of chilling in the background. to help as enforcement, as all these folks have been brought. Then once the pot has been stirred, Santa arrives and draws and reads out the names for the people who are going to need to submit cheer for the lottery. And let us see. Amongst the names that are read, we have yeah. Amongst the names that are read, yeah. So it's a few names get read. It's a certain portion of them are going to come. Martha the Widow is one of the names that gets called.
I will have the young lads take the old lady up as Martha the Widow.
So let's see who else gets called. Alois the basket weaver's name gets called, and there doesn't seem to be much of a response.
But he's not here. So what happens? His name gets called, but he's not there.
No, he's not there. So
it's going to attract attention to the fact that I failed to. He didn't think I was good enough to help him with his work.
Santa just sort of is looking around while this is going on, and he says, "Well, hold on a moment. Let's get this taken care of first." When the little old lady in the chair is brought to the front, let's see.
And I'll go up with her for whoever's going to check her in. I assume they're little petty functionaries that do that, not actually Santa himself.
Yeah, that's all sort of done. They're basically all put into they're all put into sort of a line. Basically, where they're going to the cheer is going to get harvested. They're all supposed to head toward a particular part of the factory where the cheer will be harvested.
Okay.
So let's see. Those are two of the names that got called, and I think we'll see kind of with the rest. Yes. Okay.
So they're just carted off somewhere, and it's not something that happens right there on the spot?
No, it doesn't happen on the spot. No, there's a process.
Okay.
There's a process to harvesting cheer. There are such things as portable cheer harvesters, and we'll be getting into that in a moment.
All right.
In fact, as you are all there, and the last names are called, and Santa has a list now in front of him, and looking down. Parson Brown's name also was called, and so he's going off to the factory. But just sort of looking down at this list, Santa's bids you all approach, and says, "All right, well now, I need one of you to go after this Alois the basket weaver, who did not show up for the lottery, and harvest his cheer."
I'm very sorry about that, Santa. I'm sure he'd be really disappointed to know that he missed it, but he was just so busy with work. And, I wonder if maybe we should just let him go ahead and get finished, and then he can come and submit his cheer with a clear conscience, knowing his work is done.
And he reaches down and he picks up a contraption that stands that's sitting next to him. It looks like it's sort of like a motorcycle helmet with an sort of egg beater thing attached to it, and he says, "Or we can just rip it directly from him, as we have quotas to make."
So, right now?
Oh yes, right now. Anyone? He's just sort of looking over at to see for just a split second before he picks someone. Does anyone? So in the split second before he picks someone, does anyone volunteer?
I will volunteer to help Miss Chili right her mistake.
That's only fair. I offered to help him finish his work so he could come, but I guess he didn't think that I would be helpful enough. But I suppose if we can bring the festival and the lottery to him, then it's like he got to be there after all.
That's a good sentiment. He hands Sparky the helmet, and go get his cheer if you would. And,
Okay.
He says, handing it to Sparky. That's what happens with the lottery. I'm going to go ahead and actually go around and before he gives any more direct orders, give folks a little time to do other things if they wish.
I'll help Chili.
That's cool. Couple of things that Santa knows that are sort of in general are going to need to be done is that they are working on a new delivery cannon that they're going to need they're going to need parts for. So there is an issue with some of the folks at the factory who need to kind of get back on schedule. So there is a thing there that needs to be taken care of, but that's not an official order as of yet.
I can take care of the factory.
Very good. There's one of the I think there's a breakdown in there somewhere. If you can see what that is, then we'll see if we can figure out what's happening there. So let's see. I'm going to go around again.
Okay.
Oseklis, what are you doing? Or are you actually helping? You said you're helping Chili as well?
Lead the harvest for herself.
Okay, so the three of you
Where we
are
are.
essentially going to the basket weaver's workshop.
All right. I think also just before we head out, I would call out to Necton to say, when we get back, I'll want to talk to you about Parson Brown, and then maybe we can. I'll get a chance to talk to the parson myself after he gets back from the harvest.
Yes, everything will be fine.
All right.
Okay, so Oseklis, Sparky, and Miss Chili head back into the industrial district to go and fetch the basket weavers.
I do feel the need to point something out for Miss Chili. I am a heat source as we walk over there.
That is true. So he's not really comfortable to walk next to, it seems.
Well, I'll try to keep my distance, but not look like I'm keeping my distance.
Oh, I understand.
So, Chili, have you ever seen a harvesting?
Well, no, not really. I mean, not since I've had sentience, anyway. But I'm sure.
It'll be your first time to see what Santa does to harvest.
Well, I guess so. But I'm sure it's just as joyful and cheery as the season itself.
I'm gonna look at Oseklis like, oh my god, she really is new.
I think this will truly show you the true character of Santa, so that you can understand who you're working for.
Sounds great.
This is wonderful. Okay. So you've arrived. There is this sort of cheery-looking little workshop with one more little chimney with the smoke curling up out of it, attached to a kind of a little loft area next to it, and all the door is shut and the window is shuttered.
I'm gonna knock.
Okay.
I'm gonna scratch.
I'm just gonna wait and see if he opens. If not, we have Sparky.
The door does not open.
Hey, Sparky, you think you can open the door?
I believe I can.
Before Before we continue, and I want to apologize, I forgot to give you an opportunity. And this is mostly just on Sparky and Connect. Did either of you want to resist the command that Santa gave you?
I do intend to resist this command.
Okay, so I am going to need you to roll for that before we before things go too much crazier. So it's your current love score, I believe.
Okay.
So your love score is 2. That many dice.
Well, that's not impressive.
Okay. You find I closed the window where I pulled up the things. That's not good. Let me reopen that. Yay! There it is. Okay, so this is resisting command. Yeah, love and fear plus self-loathing. Your self-loathing is 4, so I get 7 dice. And nope. You got it. You got to do it. Neck, did you want to resist that command, or did you just want to go ahead and do it?
I'm fine with this because basically I'm waiting for an opportunity to take over operations.
Excellent. All right.
And I'm fine with this command because I think that the Chili, the female snowman, needs to understand the evil of the patriarchy.
That's right. Okay.
I think while we're waiting at the outside the door, I'll start saying it's like, oh, and he's got all sorts of really cool baskets and stuff in there, and he's making these really cool sticks with sharp points on them, and I don't know exactly how those get made into a basket, but I can't wait to find out.
I know. So
First, we have to harvest.
yes.
I guess so. I don't know why it's so urgent right now, but we can make this a win-win scenario.
Because Santa can't do what he wants without harvesting.
Right.
So the you note that after a bit that no one seems to be coming to the door.
I'm just gonna vaporize the door.
Excellent.
I think that probably that it melts Chili's face off, just the reflected heat, and then she's just like, she kind of bends down and gets some more snow from the side.
Yeah.
Whoa! I think you probably just didn't hear us knock.
So this building is burning.
Knock, knock, I say loudly.
Why don't I step in and grab him
He's
quick
in there.
to...
Yeah. So what I'm going to do, this is basically, I'm going to have, Joel is going to be primary on this, since he's the one fulfilling the order. He's the one that was given the command specifically. The other two are just helping voluntarily.
Actually, or if it's okay, can I ask Sparky, why don't you let me take the lead on this for a second?
Okay.
And well, that's the thing. The mechanically, what I'm still gonna have him roll, but
Okay.
Osyclus is going to be helping, and there's a way to do that.
Well, I was basically going to say you can either go his way or my way in a seductive manner.
Ah, excellent. No, I mean, we can still totally roleplay that out, but
Okay.
it's gonna be, well, yeah, we're gonna figure out how this goes. Yeah, sure. We'll go ahead and just we'll keep going for a moment, and then we'll get to the rolling.
Okay.
So door is vaporized, and inside you see him chatting, or actually you see him. Well, you don't. It's you hear scrambling in the back behind this curtain.
That's where he keeps the pointy baskets.
Okay, I'm going to pull back the curtain.
So pulling back the curtain, you see that he's there with about 3 or 4 other folks. There are like a couple of elves and and another human, another adult human woman, and he's been just sort of slowly talking to them, and they've got these wooden stakes that they look sort of like dark sort of a darker wood that they're made out of, and they see you and they heard you come in, obviously, so they're not standing there talking per se, but they
Miss
might have
Chili
been.
is watching through the doorway because the building is on fire. She's
You see them scrambling and trying to run essentially through a portal in the back, sort of in the back door, a doorway in the back.
Can I try and grab the basket weaver before?
A back door, Jim. That's what those things are called. They're trying to run out through the back door.
Hey, actually, hey Sparky, go around the back.
All right. Their building is on fire, so you're gonna try to. So you're gonna all try to basically capture them and get them into submission here. Okay.
Miss Chili sees all of those other people and says, "Oh, look, good. He found people to help him with his work after all."
Yeah, it's great. So this is going to be violence against NPCs, generally the way these scenes go, it's usually like a one-roll resolution, typically, or that's the way I try to do it anyway. But since we've got multiple NPCs, I will allow multiple people to roll if they wish. So I'm going to ask first off. Cyclist, do you want to make a separate roll, or do you want to contribute dice to Joel's roll?
If it can contribute dice by basically saying, look, you can go with him or you can go with me, like I said, in a seductive manner. So
are you doing that with him while his place is on fire, or are you? Yes, you can. You totally can. Yeah. So what you're going to do, you can contribute dice to his roll that way.
Okay.
But we kind of have to figure out how this is going to play out.
I don't care about the others. They can escape through the back door.
Sparky, are you trying to contain the others, or are you going to are you just mostly going for the basket weaver?
I'll just stick with the basket weaver.
Okay. They're dashing out.
Through the snow?
Yeah, but on foot though, unfortunately. And so what I want you to do, since I know what Cyclist is going to do, you can go ahead and use. She can contribute up to 3 dice for this for you. So you're going to be making your. This is violence against an NPC. So fear plus self-loathing. So that's 7, 8, 9, 10. You're going to be rolling 10 dice, Sparky.
Ooh.
And I'm going to roll 1 die.
Wow. 10 dice, I still got 10.
Totally
right.
fair.
How does the 10 add up? It's
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
well, okay, but I mean, why is it 10 dice?
Because it's self-loathing plus the fear level, which is 3, plus a cyclist is helping.
Okay.
And so
and that's...
she contributes the number of dice she has in love.
Okay.
Which is another 3 dice. Basically.
I see. All right.
And I rolled a 0.
That seems pretty definitive.
Yeah, you've got him pretty much cornered as the others are scampering away. Cyclist Sparky has him in the back, has him cornered out back. What does this look like? What's happening?
If he's just got him trapped, I'm gonna walk up to him. I want to make sure Chili can see what's happening. Chili, are you within hearing?
Thumpity thump around the back.
Okay. I'm going to kind of run my hand down his face and say a lesson needs to be learned. Chili needs to see who she's working for.
I take a bit of bark and I put it on like a raised eyebrow on my face.
Chili needs to see who she works for. It is time.
I have a quick question before
selected
we
for the
harvest.
Huh?
I have a quick question before we harvest.
Mm-hmm.
You're a basket maker, correct?
Yes.
I'm going to point at all the stakes. Those do not appear to be baskets.
The
Not yet.
the baskets are gonna look different after.
Is the darkened wood a different wood, or have you fire hardened it?
'Cause- there's a special process. It just makes it more effective at holding things when it's a basket.
Yeah. Yeah, he explained all this to me earlier this afternoon. You know, he and I got pretty close, actually.
And the last thing I'm going to add is, if you needed help making baskets for Santa, all you had to do was ask.
He just sort of looks at the looks at the three of you, and is just like,
Fire hardening is an easy and effective process.
you wouldn't be interested in some baskets, would you?
A girl can always use more baskets.
They're very yeah. And I'm actually going to say probably Arseklis both Arseklis and Sparky have been around long enough that they would recognize that one of the ways that you kill a demigod
That's what I was
is
thinking.
with a special sort of there are different legends have different types of a specific kind of tree it has to be.
Well, the world that Odin's from and the world I'm from are not that far apart, so
Yeah.
I would probably recognize.
Yeah. So it's like I'm thinking. Jim is thinking back that this is probably ash tree. It's like that's like one of the approved deity killing woods. So that's probably what it is.
I would love a basket for later, just in case I had to put something in it.
Well, he's already very busy this time of year, he said.
I can totally get you a basket. So are we? But and he's just sort of looking. I'm kind of need to put my house out. That will probably help first.
I'll take care of the house for a minute.
I start throwing snowballs at the fire.
I'll just go around and scrape up all the fire from where it's at and set it all in one chair and put that chair in the fireplace.
Oh god, that's great. That's
Hooray! I knew we would get a win-win scenario.
Yes, it's time.
Now we
for
just need that cheer.
Wait, what?
cheer. Yes, your name was selected at the lottery.
No, I
Lucky
can't.
You're
Yeah.
a winner.
And we knew you were so busy that you couldn't come, so we brought it to you.
And Chili's never seen a harvest.
So at this point, he attempts to run, and I assume.
Oh, I'm not letting him run.
Yeah, no. You're able to to grab him. And so what do you do with him?
So okay. I'm gonna basically, it's sort of the chilling of now it's time for you to be cheerful and smile, and then put the hat on to.
Yeah. So you put the helmet on, and you begin operating it with the thing up top. You have to turn
Look,
the crank.
He's crying tears of joy.
And immediately this starts. He's like, "Ah! Ah! And he begins laughing uncontrollably as this little orb just appears in the center as his chair is ripped forcibly from him.
I'm gonna watch Chili to see if she reacts.
This
to
little glowing
watching
orb
him.
is like, and he collapses. And this and there's this little glowing orb has appeared in the cup portion in the top and the weird top of the egg beater thing on top of the helmet.
So he collapses?
Yes.
That doesn't look like I thought it would look.
No, it's just lying there in the snow now.
I just kind of hop over to him and kind of poke him with my stick hands. Elvis?
He passed out from the pain.
The pain? What do you mean?
It's torturous to be Harvest. That's who you work for.
What?
The man that you work for ordered this.
He just wanted some cheer, some holiday cheer.
He wanted the power.
That doesn't sound right. But Elvis, is he dead?
No, he's unconscious.
Okay.
But I think we're going.
Oh, why don't we put him in his bed so he can rest from the torture?
That didn't really seem very fun, though.
It's not.
This thing is a hand-powered side crank kind of deal.
Yes, it is.
Well, you know what? Maybe I better let Santa know that it's not fun when people have to give their cheer up. I'm sure it's just a mistake.
You should tell Santa that.
Okay, I will.
So we're going to cut over to the factory. And
Right, I have a question. As they are operating on one of my connections, is there any kind of conflict Knecht Ruprecht has?
well, I mean, it's purely up to you. You do have a connection with Alois. You knew what you knew what was going to happen to him. Since
I mean, I would if it had been put to me, I would have gone myself. But now I know how to do it, and there might be, obviously, if they, I think I'm a bit apprehensive that they don't do it properly.
Yeah, it's a thing where I mean, you know that. Well, you know that Aseclus and Sparky have been around long enough that they probably can handle it.
Fair enough.
Because they're beings on the same sort of order as yourself.
Okay.
So it's probably.
I was just wondering if there was a mechanic there because they were,
Well, there's not a supernatural connection, but
with my contact, with my connection.
Yeah, there's not a supernatural connection per se. This is just somebody who's like kind of befriended you.
Yeah. Fair enough.
And
okay.
So it's like you might feel bad about it.
No, that's great. Yeah. And I'm probably one of his regular customers because now he builds my steaks.
Exactly.
Right, factory. So, what sort of factory is this? Is this the toy factory?
Yes, it is a toy factory. For the most part, it also does. There is a minor weapons contract that Santa took a few years back. So there are a few other things than toys made here, but primarily it's toys. Santa has kind of a deal worked out with NORAD. So
these are the lifelike airsoft guns.
Yeah, there are a few things. I mean, it's mostly nothing that is supposed to, as far as the weaponry goes, the delivery cannon is being constructed in the munitions area of Santa's workshop. Because that's where most of the parts are. It's a practical thing. But it's for the most part they do just make toys. Just a few minor thermonuclear devices and things like that.
So which nation's leaders have been good and which are on the naughty list?
That's well, actually. Let's just say the nice list that the world leader nice list is very short.
It can probably be influenced through payment.
I think it's like Justin Thoreau, and that's it. I'm not sure. Anyway,
Yeah, charitable donations to a good cause, wink, wink, are a good way to bump up your score.
Yeah, there is that. Yeah. When it gets into when it gets political, there's kind of a thing that's kind of like a credit card score when determining the naughty nice spectrum. But we don't need to get into all that right now. That's for Santa's accountant to deal with. Should you ever run into them. In any case, you are at the. So you were at the sort of munitions area of the workshop. So it's this very brightly colored. There's this big candy cane archway that you pass under, and then you hear the sounds of gunfire, as is the case, as there are a few test elves that are shooting at dummies. These little sort of projectile weapons. And sort of rat-a-tat-a-tat-a-tat-a-tat. And then you have this big sort of area where you see the parts of the delivery cannon are just sort of sitting there. The lower portion appears to be there. The barrel hasn't been put on yet. And you see just this elf in a lab coat just sort of standing there shaking his head.
I'm looking for the 4 elf.
Yes, the four elf, the 4 person, in this. So as you're you head over.
Santa tells me there's a disruption.
And is the guy standing? Basically, he's got a hard hat and a
clipboard.
And a clipboard. Yes, they all have to have clipboards. And his name is Darrow. And he's got a he's got a beard. He's sort of a steel gray beard. And he just sort of looks up and he says, "It's he's just sort of looking over. No, it's the barrel. The barrel's not fitting properly. We haven't. We're trying to work it out." And he looks at the elf in the lab coat, the scientist elf, who's just basically just he's got his arms up in the air. He looks like he doesn't know what to do. Unfortunately,
Let me have a look.
So you go over and you see that there are a couple of different sized barrels laid out, and you see that they've had a team of elves sort of lifting in the barrels, and they just can't seem to get them to fit. And it's like,
does the barrel actually not fit? Like it's too big or too small for the fitting, or are they just incompetent?
It looks like it's a little from column A, a little from column B. You think that perhaps it could be made to fit. They just probably have to. They'd have to improvise a few things, but they could get it working.
They need to make a gasket or something.
Basically. And so he's right now. The Darrow is saying this is going to be at least another. It's going to push us back by about a week as we're getting to get a proper size in.
Long. You need to be faster.
Well, we're working as fast as we can.
Santa will not help. Will not wait.
We don't have the parts. We have to have the parts.
You will make the parts.
So I think that
hire more elves.
Well, we don't. But the resources it's going to take away from the deliveries if we don't have enough people.
That's why I said you need to hire more. You need to put on more shifts, work longer in the day.
I think this is going to be, since you've not done anything violent, we're going to count this
Santa is not interested in delays.
So we're going to count this as an act of villainy. So you're going to roll your fear plus your self-loathing plus the fear score. So 7 dice.
14.
And let's see, I'm rolling 3 dice because it's the reason level. Oh yeah. And so you have successfully intimidated them. They're all like, "All right, we'll figure it out. We'll make it work. We get it done as soon as we can."
Santa
Good.
is much less forgiving than I am.
Okay.
Sorry.
Do not disappoint me again.
Let me make sure we've got the stats adjusted properly here. So you succeeded at that roll. So that was a thing where you gain a point of self-loathing. So your self-loathing goes up by 1.
Yep, it's 5 now.
Yeah. So your self-loathing goes up to 5. I didn't make an adjustment on here for Sparky's for the roll that Sparky did. And so that was also successful, and that was more villainy, so that also was a point of self-loathing.
Because I'm a horrible human being.
Because you are a horrible human penguin.
Fire spirit / penguin.
A horrible fire penguin.
Yes. And I think that brings us up current. But if you folks notice anything on your sheets where there's a discrepancy, please let me know, and or where we've been updating. That's the main reason you have the sheets there, is just so you can keep track of it, and so I can look and see the backstory stuff. Okay, so that happened, and I think as we're it's getting later in the day, so yeah, let me go around again and just see what people are doing in general and what they want to kind of look into, and I'm going to start again. I think I'm going to start with Miss Chili this time.
Right. Well, so before I do absolutely intend to go talk to Santa and let him know that apparently this cheer harvester it doesn't feel good, and that's obviously a mistake. But I wanted to check on Parson Brown first, because if he was taken into the factory, I need to know, like, is it just that one portable cheer harvester that's not working, or is it all of them? I wanted to find out from Parson Brown how he's doing after being picked for the lottery.
Excellent. So something that let's see. The harvesting, the mass harvesting, generally takes place at. It's going to be somewhere at the factory that they do this. Probably in the part where they make those toys that sorts of toys that you would use to gain telekinesis and read people's minds and that kind of thing. Those sorts of toys. And
I would have figured it had its own room, like the Cheeratorium.
Yeah, it probably it easily could. Well, there, yeah, I mean that. So let's see. Let's work this through logically. So the cheer has to then be put into the forge, into the foundry, basically, to power everything. So this is probably actually close to the foundry.
Might get a little slushy in there.
Might get a little slushy. So the Cheeratorium is where they do the harvests, and then they put the cheer on conveyor belts that takes it then into the foundry. So it's a little hot at this place. Mm-hmm. You see that the building next to the sort of domed like Cheeratorium is kind of has a slight red glow coming from it. It's that hot, so very warm. You got a little bit of melting going on.
I'm like dabbing at my face with this woolen scarf I've got, but it's just sopping. It's just, and I'm leaving probably a trail, and just it's like, pardon me. I'm just like, oh, it's warm in here. Oh.
It is very warm. It is very warm. As you sort of go in, and
Can I go with Chili?
Yes, you can, certainly. If you want to make sure that that Chili's doing what needs to be done.
We'll see. I'll bet that the regular setup has got it much more under control, and that it's a very pleasant experience for everybody.
So as you go in, you see that there are a few elves that have cordoned off an area. They're these sort of these red velvet ropes in an area just sort of off to the side that they're kind of gathered around. They're elves wearing kind of big sort of woolly coats that are standing there just sort of looking down and scratching their heads. Elves and a couple of humans. And everyone else is still in a line being harvested. So at the end of it, where the conveyor belts are, you see there are a couple of lines with elves with more of putting helmets on and turning the egg beaters. But these people they actually strap them into chairs, so it's a slightly more comfortable thing. It's not a portable harvester.
But is there still screaming?
Yes, they're still screaming. Yes, obviously. Yes, they're screaming, echoing off of the walls in this nice dome-shaped building. So you can hear it. It's choice screaming. Mm-hmm. And you're looking. You don't see Parson Brown in here.
Can I go up to one of the security guys and ask
Sure.
if Brown's been harvested yet?
So you go up, and actually the guys standing around the sort of the velvet rope area are security guys. And so one of them just sort of turns to you and is like, and you can then, when he turns, you can see into the area they're looking at. And you see that there's, they've put a tape outline down of what looks like a shape of a humanoid creature down on the ground there. And he sort of turns and he and what did you ask him?
Has Harson Brown been harvested yet?
He sort of, oh ma'am, no, he hasn't. He attacked one of the the harvest elves and escaped.
I think during all of this, Chili has been just watching kind of in increasing concern as these people are screaming as the joy is forcibly ripped their brains. It's like, so I think I will actually hop on over to where they're doing that and just say, hold on, wait just a second. Have you guys noticed? No, stop. Have you noticed that they don't seem to like that?
Yeah, sorry, Santa's and actually they're still this guy's still grinding away. It doesn't seem to be stopping paying attention to what you're saying until the screams die down. And there's all these sparks flying off, and it's getting pretty warm, very warm over here. This is closer to the thunder.
Excuse me, sir.
And then so the sparks eventually die down, and the person sort of in the chair is like, there's this little old lady that's in the chair that Sparky brought in earlier, and the elf looks up and lifts up his goggles and takes off these ear protectors.
I see.
They're going on.
I see children wearing those outside.
Sorry, what?
Have you noticed that it seems like people aren't enjoying this process? Don't you think Santa would want to know if the machines are messing up?
You serious?
Well, I think Santa would want to know if the machines were making it hurt for people.
And the other person in the other chair has kind of basically has been harvested and has been twitching, and the other elf standing over there is and this elf sort of waves over. He says, "Hey, Murray! Murray looks over. Yeah, what? This snowman here is saying that
Snow ma'am, thank you. But that's not important.
My
right,
apologies. The snow ma'am over here wants us to be sure that that Santa knows that this is hurting people. And Murray is like, oh god. Yeah, we'll. You can put in a form. We've got forms for that. If you wanna submit a suggestion in Santa's suggestion box.
Okay.
He points to a place on the wall where there's like these forms that are in these racks.
Yeah, I think Miss Chili will hop on over and start filling out a suggestion form.
Okay. Just sort of shaking their heads. And
This is clearly all just a terrible mistake.
yeah. I think that, however, in this process, as this is going on, I am going to have Miss Chili make a roll here to connect with someone in here, if you so desire.
How about maybe as to roll with that? Maybe I fill out the suggestion form, but then I come back to the last person who just got finished, and I'm trying to connect with them, or are they out of commission?
Since it was done like officially, it's they're able to rouse the little old woman, and kind of they're trying to help her back to her chair.
And I'll just like attempt to comfort her, and I'm probably like dripping on her, and just like, oh, there. I'm so sorry that there's apparently some sort of a technical malfunction that's causing the pain. We're very sorry, but we want to know that I'm sure Santa's extremely grateful for your contributions. This time of year is very important for everyone around here, but believe me, I'm going to make sure this goes all the way to the top to figure out what's wrong here.
So I'm going to let you roll with sincerity for this.
All right.
This will be a. So the reason score is 3. So minus self-loathing though. So yeah, never mind. You're rolling 1 die. Sincerity.
Okay.
I keep forgetting.
With sincerity though.
So yeah, with sincerity. So it's 1 die plus the sincerity die. So you roll with sincerity.
Okay. So I'm doing make an overture. Meet myself. Self-loathing. Okay. So. All right, so it's 1 die, but with sincerity.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay,
5.
So you got a 5.
Not bad.
I roll 1 die, which is going to be less than a 5. There we go.
Yeah.
All right,
All right.
so you gain a point of love.
Yay!
Seclis, what are you doing whilst you're here?
I'm just watching. I'm waiting for the realization to hit Chili. Wow, she's stubborn.
Yeah.
I think you're watching her just babble on about like, I'm sure Santa, as soon as he figures out what's going on around here, he's going to put a stop to it right away.
She thinks you're very kind, this little old woman, and I think we're going to cut away from that scene, and I'm going to move on a little bit. Some other folks, real quick. Sparky, what are you up to?
Well, I'm going to securely store the portable harvester that we had.
Okay.
I'm not turning it back in.
All right.
And then I'm going to go to the basket maker's neighbors.
All right. Yeah, you were able to. I presume that you turned in the cheer.
Yes, we turned in the cheer.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay. So yeah.
Ideally, a neighbor that I think I spotted in there earlier behind the curtain.
Ah. Okay. Yeah. So as you come around, you find just someone just sort of carving an ice sculpture behind their house, and it's one of the elves that you saw earlier.
Nice sculpture you got going on there.
Ah, thank you. It's I'm not sure what it is yet, but I'm just sort of figuring it out. How can I
Yeah,
help
it'd be
you?
a shame if something were to happen to it.
I don't even know what it is yet.
Well, that's why it would be a shame. So I got a question for you.
Yes.
These baskets, and I will pull out my stake. How many of these do you have spread around?
I'm not sure I know what you're talking about.
So, let's not play stupid. I'm trying to work with you here.
I'm just sort of looking around. Okay, let me ask you. Are you trying to approach this as more of a thing where you're kind of trying to connect with this elf, or is this more of a shakedown?
This is more of a I'm trying to connect with this elf and become a voluntary co-conspirator. as well.
Excellent. So what I'd like you then to roll with sincerity is a
Okay.
single die. Roll one die with sincerity.
Roll with sincerity. Let's see. There you go. One single die.
Okay.
It's an 8.
Wow, that's pretty good.
All right. I roll a die. And nothing. Okay. So, I mean, I shouldn't even really need to, but I do it anyway. Yeah, okay, so he's like, so, yes, there are a few of us, who have those baskets. About half a dozen.
Do you have a plan, or are you just getting ready for someday?
We hadn't quite gotten to that part yet. We were waiting for an opportunity to try the baskets out.
I'd be very interested in seeing the baskets work out.
Oh, well,
See, I made a personal commitment to work with this man when I don't feel it was represented as accurately as it could have been. And until this guy is no longer running the workshop, I'm sort of stuck here by that personal commitment.
I think I am catching your drift.
I might be willing to work with successor management, but the contract arrangement would have to be different.
Well, yes, that's not a bad idea. Just sort of looking for those points when there's the most.
I'm sorry, points, you see.
Yeah. Yes, of course. We think when we were gonna just sort of see if we could make a little switch shortly before the sleigh ride happens. Maybe that we were thinking about that. We haven't really planned yet, but that's kind of making. Still got to get the toys out, of course, but we've many of us can do that.
All right. Keep me posted on how I can help.
Yes, we will definitely let you know. And so yeah, you've successfully made that connection with
All right.
Arvalax the elf.
Arvalax, my buddy.
And I'm going to move around since Oseclus did not. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Does that connection turn into a point of love?
Yes, you succeeded on that
Okay.
roll. So you get a point of love. And since our cyclist didn't do as much as just sort of accompanying Miss Chili, I will proceed on and ask a cyclist, what are you doing at this point after all that happens?
I think we should take this complaint form straight to Santa Claus.
Excellent.
That seems like, well, I want to make sure that we're following the appropriate protocol and the bureaucracy and all of that. But then again, if we want to get, change done quickly, I think it's probably useful for us to also manage our personal connections with the man. So, yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
I need to go outside and refresh myself a little bit, though.
I will grab the paper.
She's down to like 3 feet tall and kind of.
I will grab the paper and follow her out so we can go straight to Santa's.
I need to roll around
office.
in the snow bit first. I need to roll around, bulk
After
up.
Chili's refreshed herself, we can go straight to Santa's office and.
So, after that happens, the two of you head to Santa's office, and Santa is currently he's looks like he's on the phone with somebody. He's saying, "Yes, no, we'll have
I'm gonna walk in and just sit down in front of his desk.
we'll have more of those out to you very soon. We just need to get all of that sorted out. Yes, of course. I think that would be ideal. Just make certain that we get the items, and then everything will be fine." Good. I'm glad we see eye to eye on this sort of thing. Several of the folks up here, it's very unfortunate when they go unhappy, because we really want everyone to be happy. It's very important. So
I think at this
I'm
point,
glad-
Miss Billy nods to a cyclist and is just like, "See,
I'm glad we see the point on this. Good. We'll be awaiting your delivery." And sort of flicks off and looks up. Now then, cyclists, Miss Chili, what can I do for you?
Miss Chili has a complaint that she would like to submit straight to the boss.
Oh, a complaint, eh? Just his
It's not
glasses.
so much a complaint as much as something I feel the need to bring to your attention. I'm sure that this is all just a terrible mistake, but it would appear to me that the process that we're currently using to harvest the cheer from people hurts them.
Oh, I see. Well, yes, that is something that is unfortunate, but in order to be able to fulfill the dreams in the hearts and minds of the children all around the world, sometimes sacrifices have to be made. And that is, in fact, and it is something that we do have to let them know. We do let them know on the contract riders when they agree to live in Christmas Town that they are subject to the lottery. It is. It's unfortunate that the process can be painful, but they know that they're contributing to the greater good.
Because it seems like if they're scared of having their cheer harvested, and then it hurts when it is harvested, doesn't that produce less cheer overall?
Well, you'd think that, wouldn't you? But, in fact, cheer is something that everyone has the potential for inside of them. You just have to sometimes encourage it to get it to come out.
Kind of like how I had the potential for individuality all along, and it was that little girl Sarah putting a hat on my head that helped me to realize that I was a snowman instead of just an indeterminate snow creature.
Yes, exactly like that.
I think Chili would feel much better if she saw the contract and saw it in plain writing, like all of the people here, where it says they have to participate in the lottery and defines the lottery clearly.
Well, that's something you're going to have to see Jeff in legal for. He can provide you with that. In the meantime, however, while I've got you here, there is a report that came in that I have found most disturbing. Most disturbing indeed. And, Chili, I think that perhaps, yes, this is someone that you know, and so I think it would be good if you could help me with this. He looks down, he says, so it seems that Parson Brown shot one of our supervisor elves and is it currently at large somewhere in Christmas Town. I need you to go and bring him in so that we can make sure he is properly harvested.
Well, but Santa, I certainly don't condone attacking the elves, but it seems like he was defending himself against a process that's painful.
Well, that may be, but indeed he must contribute his part, and well, I think he'd respond better to you than anyone else, so why don't you go and get him? Would you like to resist this command?
I think I would kind of rather research the contracts first and make sure that everything's above board, Santa. So yes, I want to resist.
All right, so this will be a roll of your love score, which is currently 4.
All right. Uh-huh.
And let's
minus weariness, which is 0, but
yeah. And I think I'm trying to decide if I want to give you another die on this.
It wouldn't take that long to go see Jeff in legal.
Probably wouldn't take that long to see Jeff in legal, but that's really.
Well, I think, and I can bump up the desperation in the sense
Yeah.
that, but Santa, I don't think you understand. This is not just a question of people undergoing some discomfort. They're actually in pain and screaming, and I don't think that anyone would sign the contract if they knew that that's how it was supposed to work.
All right. Well, go ahead and roll with desperation there, and you're going to be rolling your love score. So 4.
My desperation is wanting to believe that Santa really does have their best wishes, best interests in heart,
Yes.
and he just doesn't understand.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. 4. Oh, 10.
All right, and Santa is rolling the fear level of 3 plus your self-loathing, which is 4. So I'm rolling 7 dice.
Uh-huh.
Ooh.
Oh.
What's
Okay.
Tie.
So this is interesting. Anytime there is a tie, that means that the scene is interrupted. So, so I think what happens then, just as you're having this this conversation, is there's a loud explosion.
Woo.
That just sort of it rocks everyone, and they're just sort of looking around, and you see this red light starts flashing on this big board that Santa has that shows Christmas Town and the factory, and you hear and
Is the explosion coming from the factory by any chance?
yes it is. There's an
now
overload.
Now I see Knecht Ruprecht. Now he was helping fitting the cannon together. Now sitting on the cannon end and holding the barrel, and the thing goes off, and then he's riding the barrel through. It's an arcs through town.
Can he land in Santa's office?
Well,
That
the barrel-
Yes.
Well, that's a bit of a ways off, but it's a good way to. Well, yeah, it could be close enough.
Was this a delivery cannon meant to fire gifts from the North Pole to all over the world?
Yes, it is. So it's a very large barrel.
But it wasn't attached properly.
Yes, and so the barrel. So it seems that he says, "Oh, there's a cheer imbalance in the factory. It's causing a problem. There's been some sort of accident." And immediately he goes over and he presses a big red button, And the factory is going to go into lockdown mode. So, and he just sort of turns to us cyclists. He says, "Quick, get everyone assembled in the labor yard."
Sir.
Yeah. Do you do it, or do you want to resist, or no?
So, wait. If I don't, people are going to die.
Yeah, if you don't, people will probably. Yeah, I mean, it depends on if you could still do it. It's just a question of whether you want to resist the command or not. But at the same time, yeah, I mean, if you don't.
No. I mean, I'm trying to understand, like, ramifications. So basically, Santa's factory is on fire, and he wants me to save his workers so that he continues to meet his schedule and keep pulling out of people.
Yeah, basically getting everyone assembled and out from the munitions area into the labor yard.
Oh, of course I'll go out and help people.
Yes. Oh man.
I believe I've gotten some of that sincerity on my shoes.
I love this so much. Okay. So, we have a brief montage during which a loose, a large delivery cannon barrel has come crashing through several walls with Necht riding atop it, smashing through and destroying a couple of the areas where some of the into the area where there were a couple of mines were being kept, and so that caused a little more destruction as part of the factory has now blown up, and the barrel is now crashing out through the sidewall and is now rolling down a hill. But presumably, Necht has managed to get off if he wants. There is a bit of panic, and there's sort of the all hands on deck thing is assembled, and everyone gets basically pulled to the labor yard. Does everyone come?
Yeah, Miss Chili does. This is clearly an emergency, and yeah.
Chili, you want to be
Certainly.
careful. There'll be fire everywhere.
Yes.
Well, it's just like Santa said. Everyone needs to be willing to make sacrifices for the good of the team.
That's right. So, let's see which time we have. Okay. So you kind of get out there, and
Can I roll to see if there's anything I could do to make it worse or make the damage worse?
you could do that. Yeah, I mean, so yeah. Let me ask. During this whole thing, while everyone's being called, and there's trying to get people to safety. Some people are trying to get people to safety. That's an option. Trying to make the damage worse could be an option. I'll go around and ask what each person is doing during the disaster as they're trying to get everyone out and safe into the labor yard and try to control the fire that's currently going on. I will start with Osek. Listen, you want to cause more damage.
Make things worse.
Yeah.
So, like, if people seem like they're being really effective at leading a rescue or something, kind of walk by and distract them for a moment to just make things a little worse, a little harder on Santa.
Okay. Do you want to lead them to their own... Are you trying to deliberately lead them to their own destructions at all? Or
Sure.
Okay, then... that, I think, is going to be... that's going to be more violence than anything else. So, go ahead, and it's fear plus your current self-loathing. So 3 plus your current self-loathing is 8. So you're going to get 8 dice for that.
Okay, just 8, or do I do with desperation or what?
Well, I haven't really. I mean, is there something in particular you want to roleplay whilst this is going on to increase?
Yeah, you should be a hero and go help your friends that are inside.
That's not actual sincerity, though.
No, it's not.
I don't know that fits desperation, and I don't know that fits
If I
intimacy.
may make a suggestion, for a Cyclist, leading people to their death would probably be very intimate.
You could go that way.
Okay.
Actually, yeah. So what do you do?
I will lead them to their death. Particularly the men.
Right. So how do you do that? What does that look like?
Follow me. Get in there. Let's help these and be heroes. And then once they get into the dark, let them roast.
And in what way is that intimate?
Oh. Okay, let me go another route. I will offer them rewards if they prove themselves a hero worthy of my attention.
Sorry, thinking about it. That might fit desperation. Sort of depending on where you're coming from on this.
The more heroic the act, the greater the reward.
As you're telling them this, is there anything you're doing?
Basically, I'm trying to use the inflated male ego to make them. Sorry, this is the character talking.
Sure, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, I'm using the inflated male ego that they want to, because this character, the goddess, is like the goddess of love.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sort of the prove yourself to be a manly man, and you'll get the female adoration of a beautiful woman. Go do the super heroic, just like you've seen in the action movies.
Yeah. Okay. So you're doing this in kind of are you doing this in kind of a semi-seductive manner? Or
Yeah.
something like that? Okay. Okay. Go ahead and roll with intimacy.
Okay. Sorry, I just trying to.
Oh no, that's no problem. So you have. So let me actually. Sorry, let me look back before you roll, because I want to make sure I was looking in the right place. Your self-loathing is only 3. You've been able to avoid a lot of things so far. So let's see. This is violence. So yeah, fear plus. So you're rolling 6 dice. So roll with intimacy and it's 6 dice.
Okay.
Okay, and I get 3. And so you lure a couple dozen men and elves and to their death as they go running back into the factory to try the burning bits to try to get people out.
Excellent.
And
what heroes they are.
They're very heroic. So go ahead then and you gain a point of self-loathing. Well done.
Sorry.
And Necht, what are you doing?
I'm doing the exact opposite. I'm doing damage control. Because this is the part of the factory I want to expand after I've taken over.
Yes. Santa's getting into the weapons business, folks. Okay. So you want to... So you're trying to basically help control
I
damage.
direct fire crews and that sort of thing.
I'm sorry?
I direct the fire crews and that sort of thing. Yeah, I use my...
Okay. So you're trying to help these people
my village,
to...
which is to beat out the fires and that sort of thing.
Okay, so you're trying to help these people do things. So actually, I could read that as making a connection, an overture to a connection. So go ahead and roll nothing. Yeah, you're rolling a 1.
Okay.
And actually, I could give you desperation on this just simply because of your connection to that. Yeah,
Yep.
so 1 die, and it's desperation.
Okay. That's a 7.
I shall roll 1 die. And I got a 2. Okay, so you gain a point of love, which you can apply to... whatever random NPC you were just talking to. Darrow, actually. You can apply that to Darrow.
It'll be the 4 elf, yeah.
Yeah. And So yeah, you're working to try to get it. For some reason, people are running into the factory while it's burning. It's crazy, so they can't
Get
save
out
them.
now.
Yeah, they can't
You
save them,
help
but
me.
they're
You take that, and so forth.
they're at least getting people who are having trouble getting out. They're helping them get out. Miss Chili, what are you doing?
So somewhere in the back of my snow mind, I have put together the idea that if Parson Brown escaped and something bad is happening and he felt the need to violently resist, what if he's involved somehow? I want to find him and talk to him. And so I want to try to see if I want to search the burning factory for Parson Brown.
Okay. So you're going to be out looking for Parson Brown, and he's not in the factory. You're able to determine that, but you are able to get a lead on where you think he is.
Okay.
You think that he is probably.
Does it count as resisting Santa's command? I guess he.
No,
technically-
the roll tied, so you're not bound to it. You're not bound to the
Right.
command.
Okay, so because I'm trying to just think, because it's reasonable to want to help people, but yeah, I also don't want to give up this other idea, and yeah, so I think I will search out and try to find Parson Brown.
Okay, so you're going to come upon him eventually as you're looking around. He is at an area just he's actually not far from the stables.
Okay.
He's basically there, and he's talking to a handful of people in this kind of the way that you find him is that there's this tavern basically not far from from where the stables are located, and you see that there's you see eventually there that he's that some people huddled out back, and you realize that he's one of the people. And so you see you would recognize that hat anywhere.
Okay. Parson Brown!
And so you call out, and they look up, and they all sort of look up, and he's like, "Oh crap!" And he immediately ducks down and starts starts to head inside the tavern.
No, wait, Parson Brown! And I'm pointing, and I'm half melted, so I'm doing that Donald Sutherland body snatchers. Parson Brown! Wait! You don't know me, but I know you! Thumpity thump thump aftering. Thumpity thump thing.
I need to. So you're getting after him. Let me ask briefly. What is your intention in chasing him down here?
From the very beginning of when I started feeling a sense of identity as a snow being, I have found myself repeatedly compared to Parson Brown, people imagining that I am Parson Brown instead of who I am, and I want to know why. And I had always thought Parson Brown must be a good person, but I don't understand fighting the elf, fighting against Santa, and I'm very confused, and I need to hear his side of the story.
Okay. So I think as you're chasing after him, calling after him, I think I'm going to go ahead and have you make a connection roll.
All right.
So once again, that's going to be...
And I would say this is desperation.
I would say this is desperation too,
Very
yeah.
confused.
So, I mean, just one die with desperation.
All right.
All right.
3. That's
And
not great.
I shall roll a die. All right. You gain a point of love.
Hooray!
Excellent, excellent. You're getting up there. All right.
Yeah.
And so, as you eventually manage to get him sort of into a side room in the tavern, And he's like, okay, all right. What do you want?
Well, that's complicated. But the short version is, how come? Well, like, I thought that harvesting cheer was supposed to be a good thing, but it seems like it hurts people. And then you killed an elf in order to escape it. But I thought you were a good guy, and I'm confused. And what's happening?
I was a good man once. I thought I was, but then I came here to this place, and you're Miss Chili, yes?
Yes,
Chili,
the snowman.
This place, it changes you. It's not what you think it's going to be when you fill out the application to come here. It's a place where your very humanity is stripped from you. The price of keeping the legend of Christmas going is human blood. And I could not condone contributing to that any longer. I've been silent long enough. So, some friends of mine and I have decided we're going to try to do something about it.
I hop over and I place my stick hand on his shoulder. And I say, I have only recently come to know snow humanity. And to find myself in the possession of thoughts and feelings. And the very thought that this place takes that away from others is something I cannot abide. I will help you, Parson Brown. And she's melting from being in the tavern.
Well, yeah, it's kind of... He opens a window.
That's better. I wasn't going to say anything, but...
Yeah.
Whew.
Thank you. Oh, yes, sorry, yeah. But thank you. We have to take out Santa. He reaches into his pocket. You may need this, and he pulls out a gun.
A gun? What is that?
Actually, maybe I'd better hold on to it for now. And he puts it. And I think we'll close this. We'll end the scene there.
Yeah.
And now we move on to Sparky. Sparky, so during this time, as the factory emergency is going on, what are you doing?
Would I be anywhere near the factory emergency, or would I still be out in the village hanging with the basket guys?
You can get to the factory if you want.
Hi. I'd like to get to the factory.
Okay.
Find a bunch of guys that are basically surrounded by fire. Yeah. I'm sure that's not going to be too hard.
I'm sorry, you're trying to find what surrounded by fire? I couldn't quite hear.
A bunch of guys who are surrounded by fire.
Oh, yes. For some reason, there are plenty of those.
Yes. And I'm going to escort the fire one way and the people the other.
Ah, excellent.
And sort of have them leave in separate lines for safety's sake for both.
So you want to try to sort of get them to come out. So I presume you're trying to help them.
I'm trying to help them, and I want them to know who helped them.
Is that how do you do that? By the way, letting them know who helped them. Do you are you just standing there obviously, or is there something you say in particular? Or?
I'm being pretty obvious about my efforts to save them, and as they go, I'm just going to say, just remember who's on your side.
Okay, so I think we're just going to do this as a straight connection roll.
Yep.
And so it's one die. You go ahead and roll one die.
One die.
Yeah. Ooh.
Nothing.
And I roll 1 die. I got a 2. So, you do still gain a point of love.
Okay.
And a connection to Darrow, the foreman, we'll say.
Okay.
Or we can pick another elf if you want, but that's just who I've got down in front of me. But you also gain a point of self-loathing because when this happens, they look around and they see that you're moving the fire, and they seem more afraid than anything else. So you think they're going to remember who it was that helped them, but yeah, you don't think that they're necessarily particularly. It's kind of like a rock and a hard place situation for them. I don't think they're gonna be able to. They run.
Populist idiots.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
All right. So afterwards, everyone gets called into the just sort of called to assemble. After everyone's kind of gotten to safety and things are getting sorted out, Santa is going to call you all to meet him at the munitions area of the factory, which is like half melted at this point.
So, are we establishing that Miss Chili really didn't get some kind of a weapon? Because I'm thinking she could conceal it in her snow.
Miss Chili could have gotten a weapon, but
I'm just tossing it out.
well, yeah, no, you could have gotten a weapon. It's just that the person probably thinks you might not know how to shoot a gun.
Accurate.
So he does know some people however, who have some very nice wooden stakes.
What about okay, this is just a fun image, so tell me if this is too much for the timing and all that. But I have animated magic stick arms.
Yeah.
Could those be made into like steak hands?
So there's a brief montage during which
Whittling your arms and fingers.
yeah, during which you reunite with the basket weaver, who sharpens your fingers to points, replaces your hands with ash tree hands, and sharpens your fingers to points. And then the assembly is I say assembly is called the four of you.
So I come into the assembly with my hands stuck into my snow belly, like when you have a hoodie with that front pocket, and you have your hands in the front pocket.
So Santa is there, the Krampus is there, a number of elves are there, a couple of frost spirits are there, and the Darrow, the foreman, is there. There are a number of folks, but it's mostly management basically. And Santa says, "Well, this is a very unfortunate thing that's happened. We are not going to be able to make deliveries using the new way this year. It's just not going to happen. So, what I've determined is that there are a number of individuals, clearly now I can see, who have undermined everything that we are trying to build here, and I need the four of you to go out and incapacitate them. Unfortunately, I regret that it's come to this, but it's just what needs to happen. We shall bring them in and harvest what cheer they have remaining in them, and then we'll have to put them into the we'll have to put them in we'll have to put them into the cryogenic stations to preserve them for later. I think it's the only way. So I need you, and he's got this list that he said that he's got that has naughty at the top. He says,
Yeah. I think I would interrupt and step forward. Santa, you have betrayed this Christmas village.
Well, here's the interesting thing.
Okay.
You cannot actually attack Santa until you have successfully resisted a command.
Well, I was assuming I'm resisting his commands.
Oh yeah, we can treat it that way. Yeah.
Okay.
Since he's about to tell you, I mean, he was telling you to do this, and you see that as he's starting, that you get the idea that Parson Brown is on the list, and Alois the Basket Weaver is on the list as well. So he looks up at you. Is like, what do you mean,
Santa? I've come to realize some things of late. Things about myself, things about this place, and things about you. And I don't believe that you currently represent the things you claim to stand for, and I'm not going to help you strip cheer out of people in hell instead of letting it live in their hearts where it belongs.
all right.
Can I approach and stand like near Santa?
Well, you can. Well, let's go ahead and get this roll out of the way first.
All right.
So I need Miss Julie. I need you to roll your love score. I'm going to go ahead and let you add your sincerity die.
Hooray! And this is 5
So 5 plus the
sincerity.
yeah, 15. Okay.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
And now let me go ahead and roll for Santa. And so let's see. Your self-loathing is 4. So that's it. I get 7 dice.
Oh no! It's like, well, but I mean, it's not a good time.
He says, now, I understand that it can feel that way, and you're young yet. But these people need to be brought in order for Christmas to happen. Think of the children around the world that are going to be so disappointed if we don't get this done. So I need all of you to go and kneecap Alois the Basket Weaver and Parson Brown, and to bring them to me.
Santa, I'll be happy to bring them to you.
Excellent. Now, would anyone else like to attempt to? Would anyone else like to attempt to resist?
I'm going to attempt to resist, but I'm going to try and just go round them up. But yeah, I'm going to try.
I'm all for gathering them. I think absolutely a big group right at the front door together sounds fantastic.
Okay, so you're gonna okay. So let's go ahead then, and Sparky, and you also qualify potentially for end game here. So go ahead and make your. Well, actually, let's talk a little bit this through. So you're going to. So you're just telling, okay, yeah, we'll go and just go ahead and.
Can I look over at Sparky when I say Sparky and like wink when I say this? Say, of course we need to get everyone together.
Okay, yeah, you're planning a thing out. Yes, excellent. Okay,
Oh,
so
yeah.
you're helping him with this role. So go ahead then, Sparky. You can use Oseklis's additional dice on this. So this is going to be a total of 7 dice that you're rolling. And I'm also rolling 7. All right. Nope. Okay. So, now as this is,
got a really powerful personality.
I know, right? So, well, it's the thing. So you can't resist the command. So you are going to have to round them up and get them. The kneecapping was perhaps flavor text. You don't actually literally have to do it.
We need to make an attempt to collect them.
Yeah.
Well, what I would like to do is round them up and basically get them to pretend as if we have incapacitated them.
Yes. Okay.
And then at the same time, have them be tied to stakes on a cart.
Okay. Yes, you can totally do that. Yeah, as long as you
Sure,
go
sure,
and get them. So the four of you, we're just gonna for time purposes. I'm just to say, the four of you go and you get and are getting them. You've got them tied to a cart. What is? Do you have a plan here, or do you just giving them aside
but
from
they're
giving
gonna-
them stakes? Or?
Can we get the ash stakes from the basket maker? And basically, I assume he uses like straw or something to make the baskets.
Mm-hmm.
Say, use that to tie them to the hardened stakes. So it looks like they're all tied to stakes on a cart that we're going to pull forward.
So as you are working with the resistance people with this plan, I'm going to let just each of you make a connection roll here. So you can each roll 1 die.
Okay. All right.
Oops.
1.
1.
Okay.
I got a 3. I feel powerful.
I'm going to roll 4 dice, but I'm going to just use the individual totals. All right. So Jules would end up getting interrupted somehow, but aside from there's a moment when a couple of them run off. So you don't have as many as you thought you were going to have, but you do get all of them. And you can each increase your love score by 1.
Mm-hmm.
Well, except for Sparky, who I got a 3 against, so you're still at a 4. All right.
So does rounding them up with the specific intent of not really securing them for the purpose of betrayal, does that really count as obliged to carry
just
out
enough. Well, after you talk to Jeff in legal, you realize that there are many things you can do like this. There are ways to make this work. Jeff in legal is actually
letter of the law.
apparently might seem to know more about what's going on. Oddly enough, doesn't seem to want to stop you. So you have.
Where is the helmet to? With the actual extraction helmet, where is that?
I'm going to get the portable one that I have.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have it with me on the cart.
All right.
Because then I'd like to disable that or sabotage.
Or we could use it on Santa.
That's my plan.
Ooh. Yes. We can invite him to look closely how good we are, and then we're just going plonk.
Well,
Yep.
I'm not sure how I feel about that. I mean, kind of my whole entry into this resistance movement was feeling that those are inhumane.
Of course, we
But
would never
Santa
use
is
those.
not human.
Can I make sure I have a stake on me, please?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can all have stakes.
I break off one of my fingers and hand it to you.
You're visiting the guy who makes the stakes. You can
tie.
have as many stakes as you want. As many
And then I'm
ashen
left
stakes.
holding off my broken off finger and
Yeah.
like, oh, well,
Uh-oh. So, Santa, you have discovered, is now over at the cryo lab, the North Pole's cryo lab, where they don't really have the ground is a little too hard to really have a proper graveyard. So there is a crematorium. But there is also everyone else they just put into big blocks of ice. So
Cryogenics is an offense against man and God, I tell you.
it easily could be. Especially against
now,
fire
wait a
spirits.
minute. Now, wait a minute. As a frozen individual, I have to say it's not all bad.
I have nothing against cryogenesis.
So
Just frozen people, I see how it is.
yay! Oh my gosh! So
If you
basically, this
start
place.
frozen, that's fine.
It's set off from side and everything else. It looks like a big sort of it looks like a little castle made of blocks of ice. And on the inside, there are people and just humans and elves and such that are each in their own sort of like coffin-like thing. Coffins basically carved out of ice along the walls, or sort of stood up. And he has these very large toy soldiers sort of milling about, working in here.
What are the toys? Are they humans or are they actual toys?
No, they're toys. They're not. They're not sentient beings. They are automatons.
I'm gonna Can I kind of side whisper to Sparky that he'll probably need to focus on the toy soldiers?
I can do that.
So, Santa is over at the. Is basically over at the place where the coffin where the coffins are prepared, with the elf who's the head mortician. So you've got an elf in black with a top hat, basically, who's there with him, and
with little like holly leaves and stuff on the top hat.
It's fast. Yes, it's the season, and Santa turns as you wheel as you wheel this cart in, and he just sort of absent-mindedly says to you all as you're coming in, good, excellent, good. What about there? And you see a couple of the other elves who operated the other units have got their own a couple of portable units here, of the cheer extractors, and he says, good, excellent. And he says to all of you, to the four of you, yes, get them off there and put them on the slabs over here, and we'll get to work on them.
Is the cart right next to Santa?
Not yet. It's getting closer. However, he has just given you all each of you an order, so you may, if you wish, resist.
I wish to resist.
I wish to resist.
Okay, so in order to do that, once again, this is going to be your love score. In dice. So whatever your current love score is, that is what you roll.
All right.
Going to resist as well.
Love it.
Okay.
Get a 9.
Is that everyone? That's everyone. Okay.
Next, you have rolled 4, not 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, Nect gets 2 more dice, so if you want, you can roll again and roll 2.
Ozzy?
Add them up.
Oh.
You get 4 dice, so you only roll 2.
Ah, right.
You can roll
Okay.
2 more.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oops. Oh, that's not how this works. Okay.
All right, excellent. So you've got a total of 4. And Master is going to roll against each of you because that's how this works. Fear plus self-loathing. So, so I roll 7 against Oseclus. And that's 10. I roll against Connect. I'm going to roll 5, 6, 7, 8. I roll 8 dice against Connect. He says trying to make these rolls here. That's an 11. And I roll against Sparky. I roll 9 dice. Good Lord.
Jeez.
That's a lot. And against Miss Billy, I roll 7. Which was
Still beat me, but didn't beat Osiclus.
well, Oseclus was got a 9, total of 9.
Oh no, you're right.
Yeah, so
okay.
just beat. So you are
Oh,
compelled
man,
to
we
at
all
least
fail?
put them on the slabs,
Oh no!
but you can continue carrying out your plan if you wish.
Miss Chili has non-frozen tears, creating like total, really deep like trails down her cheeks.
Can I?
Hot
so,
tears.
So I have the command to try and put them on the slab.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Can I shout at them? We're gonna put you on the slab unless you act now.
Kind of have to
Okay.
try to put them
So-
on the slab. Right?
So yeah, you shout at them, and they leap up, and turns out they're not bound at all, and they surge towards Santa. And things are starting up here. So, as this is going on, Santa is looking up and just saying, "What is going on here?" You lot! Stop them! And you've got another opportunity to resist. However, let me know if you are adding intimacy or desperation or sincerity as you're doing these things and roleplay said things.
I think, yeah, I'm just, I'm seeing them, I'm desperate in the sense that I feel like I know in my snow heart what's the right thing to do, but I've not been able to resist the power of this man who I now see as evil, and I'm desperate.
Okay, so roll 6 dice with desperation.
I sincerely want to kill Santa Claus. Does that count?
Well, we know that already. There will have to be some sincerity role played in a moment. Maybe. Let me check. Let's see how this roll goes.
I got 13.
I got 16. Okay. So,
I rolled with desperation and got a 7, because I think this may be my last best shot at this.
so,
Knecht Ruprecht is definitely rolling with desperation as well, because he's not sincere. He might be against Santa, but he now is in the business himself.
I can see
Annoying.
that. I can see desperation for each of you, so let me look this over here. So we have.
I need to take back the power that he has stolen. I sincerely want him dead to take back what was mine.
Right. Well, the I understand that you sincerely want that.
Okay.
But I
Is
need
it
to know how
desperation?
sincerity is hard. It's the highest die. First of all. Second of all, there's a. So I need to see some. So what do you do to express that? What do you do as you're?
I'm going to
attempting
yell out
resist?
like a general on a battlefield. Take back what is ours. Destroy the thief who's taken our power.
Let's see.
Free ourselves from the master.
Santa looks up at you as you're saying this. He says, "Thief, what do you mean? We've been nothing but partners in this affair since we started."
Like men of ancient, you have come into my world and stolen mine. I was a goddess. I was the sun, and now I'm but a star and a consort.
There we go. All right, yeah, roll your love dice with sincerity, please. All right. Now, who have I not rolled against yet? I have not rolled against.
Tough boss, you guys.
Yeah.
Against Knecht Ruprecht and against Ausiklis.
Okay. I still need to roll against Connect and Cyclist, right?
Yep.
And Sparky.
And Sparky. Okay, that's right. I was just trying to figure out where this was coming from. Okay, yeah, so I still need to roll against the 3 of you. Okay. I'm going to do it in the order in which I see the rolls on here. So I'm going to roll against Sparky first. And then we're going to see kind of how this goes. Something's about to happen. We'll see how this goes. So Sparky's at 6 and 7, so I get 9 dice here. Okay, just beat him. And I'm gonna roll against next. Holy crap. Alright. And a Cyclist. Okay.
Ah! Boy.
No.
Okay, so you are now in conflict with him. I'm going to say you're managing thus far to get in. You can't seem to harm him directly yet.
Yeah. We are frightened.
But I'd like to know what as you're doing this, though, as you're coming up upon him, Santa just sort of steps back, and he's like, "All right then." And out of his an inside pocket, he pulls a very long spear that shouldn't fit in there. And he says, "Let me slip into something a bit more comfortable for this." And he bangs the spear against the ground, and quite suddenly he is cloaked in gray and is wearing a winged helmet.
Is there eye patch?
and an eye patch, yes. And he turns the spear on this mob that's attacking him. And now I'm going to go around once again and ask what each of you are doing. So I'll start with Miss Chili. Let's go around that way.
Okay. Well, so are we like officially in conflict now? Or,
You are in conflict. Yes. I just want to know what the next step is that you're trying to do. We're going to keep rolling
Well,
things.
for one, she has been inside, so she is definitely losing some mass here. She's definitely melting and kind of slushy on the outside, but I think I mean, she still technically hasn't successfully resisted. Does she need to do that?
Well, that's what we're going to do. That's how I'm going to interpret what you want to do next.
Okay. She wants to. When she sees him transform, like like he's clearly not who he pretended to be.
Mm-hmm.
She wants to try to rush him and claw at him with her fingers.
Okay. I can give you desperation on that if you want.
Yeah, well, especially like she's melting, everything's falling apart, her whole world is imploding.
And I will give you an additional die for this
Okay.
round. So you're going to roll 7 dice with desperation.
All right. 19, that's pretty good.
All right.
I hope.
And I once again get 7, which I put a 4 in there for some reason. No, that's a 7. Ah, there we go.
Ah!
Okay, the cycle has begun, and now everyone is free to act because you actually somehow manage. As this is so, what is this?
Santa,
Looks
you
like
have
as your
failed
character.
this city.
As you rush toward, and actually you scrape. He attempts to fend you off, and your claw comes through and scrapes his arm. He's like, ah! Now, we come to an ending montage here as we're going around, figuring this out. As things are, everyone has a different ending point that they're going to be reaching based on their stats at this point.
Okay.
Miss Chili will be able to successfully destroy Santa during this scenario, but here are the things we're going to we're going to do. Okay, let me pull this up real quick. As this is the end game. So let me grab it real quick. Where is it? Okay, there we go. Come on. There we go. Okay. So in the end game, I'm going to be looking over your scores here, and we're gonna sort of go over the different things that can happen in the epilogue. So. No one has a no one has a weariness score, so we don't need to know about number 1. Number 2, self-loathing is greater than love plus reason. So reason is 3. I don't think anyone has that, so we're not gonna
Nope.
because so 4, 5, 6, 7 self-loathing greater than reason. Everyone has that.
Except
So-
for Miss Chili.
Except
Well, I technically do have
Miss Chili has-
self-loathing greater than weariness plus reason
Yeah.
is still, 4 is greater than 3.
Yeah.
So that
the option.
qualifies.
So one possibility is that you each have the option at the end of this as the minion destroys itself. This is going to be the end result, possibly. But let me continue down the list here. Love plus reason greater than self-loathing. Love plus weariness. We don't have weariness. So let's see. So reason is 3. Going down the list here, 7, 7, 5, 7, 9. Yeah, you all have this option. The minion integrates itself into the society of townspeople. That's also an option for each of you. Let's see. No one has love equaling 0. And no one's got their self-loathing equal to, I think, love plus reason. So yeah, your choices are, it has to end in one of these 2 ways as we go around here. Either you destroy yourself, or you're going to eventually integrate yourself into the society of townspeople. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around twice. ask for a narrative of what happens during this battle, and then I'm going to ask for an epilogue after that from everyone. All right? Okay. So here's the. So first, I'm actually this time, I'm going to start with Sparky. So during this conflict, what does Sparky do?
Sparky's going to melt all the hinges on the toy soldiers together, so that they, get immobilized, keep falling over, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And focus on every time the guy pulls out a new spear, I'm gonna vaporize it.
Excellent.
I'm gonna keep him disarmed the whole time.
Awesome. And what does Oseklis do during this conflict?
I will yell at Santa that I will not be a Valkyrie, you're Iron Runner, you're less than equal, and stab him.
Excellent. So there's a lot of stabbing going on. Knecht, what are you doing during this conflict?
I'm going to team up with Krampus, and we'll be the Alpine twins, and take back what is rightfully ours in this part of the myth.
Right. So, but during this fight with
So
Santa Claus in the Ice Palace, yeah.
Yeah, in this fight, I'm going to get Krampus to attack Santa.
Ah, excellent. So Krampus was waiting in the wings.
Yeah.
Long done. Then he just, we'll say that you arranged this earlier. He just steps out from behind an ice block and leaps at him. And Krampus can leap for quite a ways. And finally, Miss Chili. What happens?
So, melting already from the heat, the increased heat from the spears getting vaporized and everything, tears of her own, warm, hot tears dripping down and melting her face as she cries, and is just total, like, there's no grace or technique to it. She's just clawing at him with her sharpened ash fingers, just like, I trusted you! I believed in you!
So, Miss Chili, how do you kill Santa?
Before you go, can I make a suggestion for you, Miss Chili?
Okay.
I'm gonna reach out a hand and go, would you like to take this fight to the inside?
I don't know what that means.
Well, do you intend to survive or not?
Well, on a meta level, I think no. It's the full circle. She found herself, but now she has learned what it really means to sacrifice for the good of the team.
Well,
And so she is leaving it all on the floor.
just before she dies, just before whatever she's doing finally consumes her, I would like to go to full fire, scoop up all her water, and turn her into full steam, and we're going down Santa's lungs and roasting him from the inside out.
All right, there you go. Yeah, so clawing, falling apart, losing mass, kind of getting very slushy, wobbly. The hat is now melted down into like this very, sinister sort of cocked angle down over one eye, and just clawing, falling apart, but tearing, getting past the armor now. Claw, 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 blood speckling the white snow, but melting further, faster every time. Going down, and the hat falling apart, and finally dripping puddle, and then aided by Sparky. She's just water now, and I'll let Sparky tell the rest as the hat slides down and falls to the ground, wet in the puddle. But with the one clawed hand like remaining stuck in Santa's heart, or Odin, or whatever.
Yeah. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. These things.
Yeah.
So yes, Santa dies. Santa phrases you thought you'd never say. Santa Claus dies in the ice palace, melting around as it's melting around him. Stabbed 17 times. Clawed and boiled from the inside.
We will leave nothing but bones as the meat tenderizes so much it falls off.
Leaving nothing but jolly, jolly bones.
And I think just very briefly in her steam form, you all see the steam very briefly form into the shape of a snowman, and you hear a voice say, "Give my hat to another."
Nice. So, I think now, as things are settling down, I think we're going to have one final bit of narration to see just where everything ends
Can
up.
I claim the hat?
I got nothing against it. I think we've kind of seen the end of Miss Chili, unless there is. Do you want to get another thing in? Do you thing at the end of this round, or we'll.
No, I think that was that was Miss Chili's final wish.
All right. So as things settle down, and as Christmas is still coming, and the people of Christmas Town are in kind of a panic. Apparently, Santa has been slain by a resistance group. But so there are things to consider. Also, the delivery cannon's not happening this year. But I will go around and ask kind of for, with respect to each of your characters, what happens? And I will keep going around, so I'll start with Sparky.
I'm perished.
Oh, okay. You
I was
also burned
destroyed
away?
in his destruction, yes.
Okay. So the two of you have perished in the melted ice palace.
One last task achieved by the team: a song of fire and ice. Ice and fire. I couldn't do it properly, and that would have made the joke better.
Makes a good, and it makes a great
Icy
antifreeze too.
Team Icy Hot for the win.
What happens to us, Eklis?
I would like to be reborn on the next winter solstice, and when I am reborn, place the hat on a snowman so that Chili can also be reborn with me.
I think as you place the hat, there must have been some magic in that old hat you found. That old singed hat you found. Or when you placed it on her head, she said, "Happy birthday!"
I also would like to think that with my rebirth, that the more of the pagan faiths start to come out again.
That would be something. That would certainly be something. That would certainly be something that could happen as this is going on. Yeah, you're no longer tied to Santa Claus at this point, so you can do what you like. And Connect. What happens to Connect?
Yeah, that's a similar connection because, as I said, Knecht Ruprecht has teamed up with Krampus, who is his ponto on the other side of the Alps. And we are going to bring together all the old pagan alpine entities that were used to be integrated in the whole Santa thing, and we are going to do Christmas properly.
I can see us teaming. I've got the Baltics.
Yeah.
You're down in the.
Let's do all the original folklore pagan connection. Get them all together and do Yule.
I'm down for it.
I can tell you. I can tell you one thing. You'll be hearing from the Coca-Cola Company about destroying their icon. That's all I'm going to say. But there we have it. That is my life with Santa.
Amazing.
That was
Very
fantastic.
fun.
I'd like to thank everyone so much for playing. That was awesome. And every bit as horrifying as I hoped it would be. I'm going to go around the opposite way from where I started and ask folks to say what you thought of the game, any final thoughts, and where folks can find you if they're looking for you or what have you. And so I believe then I'm starting with Joel.
I very much enjoyed that game. I like the rules light flavor, the way the couple numbers interacted to get a bunch of different results. and I really enjoyed watching Miss Chili just be so sadly innocent through the whole thing.
Yes, that was
Poor-
great.
Poor
that.
baby.
Awesome. And Christiana.
So I thought this was a lot of fun. I think some of the mechanics are still confusing to me. I mean, like maybe like none of us got any weariness, but I guess if we were playing like a longer game or something like that, there would have been more time. So like this is not even really a complaint so much as it just like in this time we didn't really interact with a third of our own ability score. So, but the game at the same time, conceptually, I love all of it. It was a lot of fun.
Excellent. And I didn't, Joel, I forgot, was there any, did you want to throw, were there any, did you have any, anything you wanted to plug or any links or anything or media or anything you wanted to point people to?
I am sadly bereft of shameless promotion.
Oh my gosh. All right.
Well,
Christiana.
so if we're doing that now too,
Yeah.
so I just briefly I'll mention that last weekend was my Extra Life game. Where I played 24 hours of Dungeons and Dragons over 2 days to benefit children's hospitals as part of Extra Life. And all of that video archive is currently available on YouTube, so you can watch our whole 25-hour campaign that we ran through Waterdeep Dragon Heist, the D&D module. And it went great. It was lots of fun. We raised $850, and donations are actually still open. You. But I'll also give a shout out that right now is a sort of a hangout-a-thon fundraising thing for CosmoQuest, which is this great cause for space and astrophysics and science education and outreach. And it's this great cause, and they're doing a hangout-a-thon. I'm going to be on the stream a little bit later tonight, and you should check that out. Like when this stream is done, maybe head on over there. So I think it's just twitch.tv/CosmoQuest.
What's your YouTube channel?
My YouTube channel is
Was
just
the
my...
one where the D&D game happened?
Yeah, so that YouTube channel is just my name, so Christiana Ellis.
Oh, right, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Cool.
And all my stuff goes up at christianaellis.com.
Can you put in the Zoom chat the Cosmic Quest, was it?
Yes.
So I have that up here real quick. Cool. Awesome. And then we'll come around to Ozzy. What'd you think? Where can folks find you?
Oh, I really, really enjoyed this. This was fantastic. And to get sort of a little fight back against the entity that scared me so much when I was a little boy. And yeah, I'm Cowhand on Twitter. And whenever I'm doing something, that will definitely be announced there. I don't have anything immediate, but I ran a game for Extra Life as well yesterday on Unmade Gaming, and we played Pugmire, the game by Eddie Webb, which is essentially D&D with uplifted, awakened dogs.
Nice.
And that was good fun.
Nice. Very awesome. And finally, Chris.
This was amazing. Thank you. This was a really fantastic game. Miss Chili, you were truly the star of this game. You did really well. I love the character. I love that you could do innocent in such a dark world. So that was amazing. So thank you for bringing much joy with that character. And I don't have anything to plug. I'm on Twitter, but I don't really post a lot. But I'm CF Gregory on Twitter. And thanks. It was a lot of fun.
Excellent. Well, folks, this has been great. I've been wanting to do the My Life with Santa variant for years and years, and I'm so glad I finally got a chance to do that. It was everything I had dreamed. So thank you all for coming and playing and helping me realize that.
Right.
I'm just worried that you had dreams of this.
Yes, I have many dreams. So
Visions of poisoned sugar plums danced in his head.
I know. These things happen, you know. But once again, for those of you watching, I'm Jim Ryan. You can find me at OtherDoc on Twitch and Twitter. That's OTHERDOC. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. I've got links down below to my Twitter, my website, my YouTube, things like that. On this channel, on Friday afternoons and Saturday mornings, I play video games. Every other Saturday, we play The Cold Ruins of Last Life, which is taking a break for the holidays, but we'll be back in the new year. 1 week from today, for our last one-shot of the year, I'm going to be running a very silly hack of Lady Blackbird that I wrote a few years back. It's called RVR, and it's all about Shakespearean robots in space. I'm very much looking forward to getting that on here and seeing what happens. I have been putting together the schedule for 2019. I'm about to release it, the schedule for January soon. There's going to be... we're playing mostly. It's going to be Dawn of Worlds and The Quiet Year. We're going to be doing some world building type stuff for that month. So I wanted to kind of take a little break, take a step back before diving back full on into the full on RPGs. So we're going to be doing that. When we go to the outro card, I'm going to go ahead and raid Cosmo Quest, since I see that they're up and running right now.
It is Cosmo Quest X.
Cosmo Quest X, yeah.
Yeah.
And so we're going to do that after we go to the end card. So stick around if you're interested in doing that. But in the meantime, folks, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care.
Thank you.
And I will see you
Happy
all
holidays.
And yes, happy holidays to everyone and whatever sauces you appreciate as well. Take care.
Hooray! Happy holidays.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.